Alright, a very good evening, Twitch and YouTube fans, and welcome to the program once again. It's Captain Abs here with you for yet another chapter of my pilot's life career here in, well, now we're Microsoft Flight Simulator. We started out in P3D. We flew through P3D for a good, that was, I think 18 months, I think. It was quite a while anyways, a year, 18 months. And then we moved into now the Microsoft Flight Simulator genre here. And we are now going to be taking our Aerosoft CRJ, which you can see there at your 12 o'clock, to the, back from Ottawa, where we are right now, to Chicago O'Hare. You can even see the sign there on the jet bridge. It says Ottawa. So we're going to go back to Chicago O'Hare today. That's our flight for the day. Here it is, here in A Pilot's Life, another session upon us. And let's get this show on the road. I've set myself a target to be airborne off the gate, not airborne, but off the gate, hopefully by 0130 Zulu, which is going to require a pretty quick start up here. They're going to want to start boarding the aircraft in the next couple of minutes in order to get it loaded and departing on time. So in the meantime, I will say that I did get paid. I did check my messages here, and I did get paid. I got $100 for my investment that I made, and I only got $43 for flying last month. I think I only finished one flight last month. If I go back to the flights for this month here, let's see here. Yes, I got one flight done, the Ottawa to Chicago flight done on August 18th, and that was it. The previous ones I'd done just at the end of July. I have really kind of fallen off the last few months with my flying, and it's just, again, it's part of it is summer. Kids are at home all the time, which kind of cuts into the streaming time. It's not a bad thing, but it does sort of reduce the choices that are available to me, and also coupled with that, I went back to work, which of course required some studying, and obviously going back to work, whereas I wasn't working for quite a little while there, it obviously has taken up quite a bit of my time as well. So I haven't got nearly as many streams done as I've wanted to. I've mixed in some ATC streams here and there as well to you know, balance the load, and also just because I enjoy the ATC streaming, it's a little bit less intense than flight streaming. I find flight streaming is very it's very intense. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time to sort of get it all set up. I'm sorry, I'm just playing with my track IR, and it is completely screwing up the the aircraft there. So I guess now that I've completely screwed that up in the background there, yeah, now it's completely upside down. All right, well, with that in mind, I guess we'll put on the track IR. Am I very quiet? Hold on. Maybe this is on the wrong mic. This could very well have defaulted to the wrong mic, and I hate when it does that. No, it's on the right mic. Should be, here, let me turn it up just a little bit more. Alright, it should be on this mic, so check. It does look like it is a little quieter than usual, so let me just try turning it up a little bit more. Does that make it any better? Because it does look like I'm using the correct mic, so I'm not sure why it would be being quiet. If I mute it, yeah, it just took away all the voice, so it's not muted. Yeah, okay, so I turned up the gain quite a bit on it. I'm not sure what was going on there. Okay, so in the meantime, let me put on my track IR hat. There we go. Now we've got it back to more normal orientation. I put my fingers in front of the track IR sensor because I was just trying to play with it a little bit, because I found lately, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's dusty and dirty, if there's some lighting issues in here, what's going on with it, but lately it's been very kind of temperamental. It doesn't seem to like to find me a lot of the time, so I've been having issues with it. So let's see if that's going to work okay anyways. Looks okay anyways, so we'll see as we get into the aircraft, we actually start moving around, how it's going to look. And of course, I'm forgetting one more thing, and that is of course myself in the corner down there. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another episode of A Pilot's Life here. So as I said, we are here in Ottawa. We got a lot of stuff to do to get this flight going, so let's just get this going real quick here, and we will hop back in the flight deck where I had myself all set up here. Alright, so we need to first of all get some power on this aircraft. So let's just do a quick power up checklist here. So we're just checking to make sure the electricals are all off right now. The hydraulic pumps are all off. Landing gears down. The spoiler's stowed. The power levers are at shut off. Flaps are up. And I just realized as well that I flew the DC-6 yesterday and I haven't reset my control scheme from that. The parking brakes on, the manual flaps are in normal, the ADG is stowed, so we can go ahead and power on the aircraft. We do have electrical power, so we can turn that on, look into the nav on, we can get the logo light on, we can get the no smoking sign on because it should be on all the time, and we can also just quickly test the emergency lights. So if we put them to arm, it should show, sorry, if we put them to on, my bad, go the other way, it should show emergency lights on, and then we can put them to arm. And we can also get those IRSs aligning. And that's basically it for the power-up checklist. And so, like I said, I just realized that that I've got the control system set up wrong. So just give me one moment, and we will fix that. All right, and there we go. We're back. Squibbly, yes, it has been much too long, and I'm sorry it's been it's been so intermittent this summer. Summer has just been absolutely crazy. I'm hoping that it'll get a little bit more. Just the schedule will kind of become a little bit more regular as we get into September. As the kids head back to school, I go back to work on a fairly regular basis. I think it's going to be, I hope it's going to be a little bit more regular, but I can't make any promises at this point. So we'll see how it goes. So we've also got a couple of things to set up here. We've got to set up our self-loading cargo and get that ready. So let's see here, advanced settings. Let's import it from SimBrief, and that will automatically load everything: the flight number, the takeoff and arrival time, the number of passengers we have, which is 75, and this time I'm going to remember to change this to the American Airlines sound pack before I hit start. Alright, and the one thing I need to do as well is I just need to get the gate. Here it comes. The door's already open. So we just need the jet bridge there, and that will allow us to start boarding. And I just have to basically make this call. And they're going to say ready for boarding, and then they'll start boarding everybody. Now, why?
Hi, cabin crew, we're ready to get going now, so as soon as you're ready, you can open the doors and start letting the passengers on board. Thank you.
No problem.
We lost our external power for some reason. I'm not sure why I lost the external power there, but that's why all the screens went off. Alright, so that's a little better. I'm really not sure why that happened. Alright, so what we're going to do first, of course, is we're going to get ourselves into the FMS. We're taking the standard routing here. If I can pull up my flight plan, if I'm allowed, just give me 1 second here. Alright, and Squibbly, I didn't even look to see if you're out there, honestly, I'm sorry. Let's do this. Let's just go and have a quick pan around. And I don't even see you, Squibbly. Am I connected? Let's just check, make sure I'm connected to VATSIM here. I am connected to VATSIM, so hopefully you're around this terminal somewhere. I don't see you right now. I'm sure you're around here somewhere, though. I hope. Alright, as long as you're here. Maybe you're just not connected to VATSIM. Are you connected to VATSIM yet? Alright, anyways, we're going to have a quick look here. The database is, let me just check this out really quickly here. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put myself back up there again. Hey. Doesn't help that my hat looks very weirdly crooked for some reason, but it's probably just because my head's leaning a certain way. Alright, anyways, so we've got the FMS database is still valid for about another 7 days, so that's a good start. Go to position init page, go to page 2, and grab the GPS coordinates from the GPS system. Go back to page 1 and copy them in there, and that will be our initialization for the FMS. And then we can go ahead and put in our routing. So today we are going CYOW to KORD. And alternate of, I didn't even honestly check. Let's see, right over here is my flight plan. Should be. There it is. Flight plan, it's got me having an alternate of Detroit. Yeah, it likes Detroit for an alternate, and that's, if the weather's bad in the Chicago area, okay, but, you know, if it's okay in the Chicago area, we can use a much closer alternate than that. We often will use something like, I believe our sky was 5732. Yes. Something like Milwaukee even is fine. Gate 13 at the end. Okay, so you're at the end there. All right. Well, I will. We'll see you soon enough. Let's get this let's get everything going here so that I can be punctual with my departure here. Let's have a quick look. So we do have Toronto Centre online. If Montreal Centre's not online, Toronto will control Ottawa because it falls kind of right on the boundary between Toronto and Montreal. So we'll have to call them. But just looking at the wind, 320 at 11, runway 32 for departure, but maybe they'll give us something different. I don't know. I'm going to put in 32 anyways for now. And then, let's see here. Alright, so, and it's a pretty simple flight plan today. LETAC Q824 all the way to Flint. And that's where we join the Windy, Windy 2 arrival now. So we do LETAC and Quebec 824.
Hi there. We're ready to go up here, so once everyone's on board, please feel free to close the doors and we can get going.
Why did it take him so long to do that after I clicked?
Okay, great. We're almost done.
Oh no, they are boarding. They're already halfway boarded. They're more than halfway boarded. Alright, so then we got to do the arrival into Chicago. Now, SimBrief is estimating 10 left. If that was the case from this direction, we wouldn't do 10 left. We would do 9 right, maybe 9 center. I'm going to bet on 9 center to save us the long taxi when we get there. So 9 center, and we're looking for the windy arrival. Windy 2, Flint transition, and we can flight plan that, and then I think we might have to just take a discon out of there. Yeah, so let's just go to the legs page, and we can copy up from one Flint to the next Flint. U to U, and that's it. Alright, that is all in there. And I could put in, I think it'll allow me to put in the alternate routing, but I'm not going to bother putting in the alternate routing today. Oh, that's just a notification from self-loading cargo that's getting ready. Ada says 9 left. 9 left. Really? Because 9 left. I didn't think it was reopened yet. Where's my... Now you're kind of making me curious there. Because 9 left has been closed for construction for a little while now, so I'm not, it's possible they might have finally got it. Oh my gosh, you're right. ILS 9 left and ILS 10 center. Oh, I guess they reopened 9 left now. Huh. Who knew? Okay then. Well, I'm going to leave 9 center in there for now. I've been to Chicago for about 2 weeks, so I guess they've opened it. Alright, I'm going to leave it there for now, but we can always change it once we get en route here, so let's see here. Cruise altitude today, it's planned at flight level 380. Oops, you got to put the FL here. 380. And alternate cruise altitude for Detroit, flight level 370. Come back the other way, go nice and high for that one as well. For a relatively short flight, that seems like a pretty high altitude. Alright, and then, let's see here, we got to come over here really quickly and just set up our performance. So we got 70 passengers today. Let's see here. They've changed this a little bit. These buttons now look a little different. They've got these little stripy things going on here. I'm not sure if I like it yet or not. Alright, anyways. Set payload and simulator. Although I need more fuel. Copy perf init data to FMS. Let's set all of these. And let's go ahead and just while we're back here. Let's see if we can reach. No, sorry, we gotta do this first. Come on. There it goes. So we need about 12,000. We need 12,500 actually. Yeah, well, I saw that now. I looked at the ATIS too, and I'm surprised. I didn't realize that they were that close because last time I was there, it looked like that did not look like 9 left was ready to be open. Let's put it. I'll be honest. Last time I was there, 9 left did not look even close to ready. So it surprised me that they've done that. But if that's what it is, hey, we'll do it. Maybe we'll have some ATC when we get there. We'll keep our fingers crossed. We got some Toronto ATC for the departure at least, so that's good. As long as we can get out of here before they log off. Alright, and then page 3, We don't need to adjust any of that at this point. VNAV setup. The only thing I'm going to do is bump up the target speed to 0.77 because SimBrief always seems to want to plan us at 0.77, which is fine. Get us there a little sooner. That's cool. That's actually, sorry, that's the climb, isn't it? It plans us at 0.77 in cruise. There we go. Alright, and performance, also I need to put in a flex temp. We'll put in a flex temp of 39 today. There we go. And we're basically done with the FMS setup. I'm just going to move this guy, I'm going to just shrink it so it's not so obtrusive at the moment. And let's just get this, check this whole overhead flow out, make sure it's all good. So we got the battery masters on, we got the AC power on, generators are on reset, fire detection test. Looking good. Hydraulic shutoffs are out. The lights are all as required. Fuel pumps are off right now. Bleed air system is all configured properly. The APU we probably should start if the fueling's done. And let's just check and see here. The fueling, 12,830. Yeah, it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and shut off that button. Close the valves and close that. And we can go ahead and start the APU. So power it on. The rest of the ignition system buttons look okay. And there's the start. The cabin altitude we're going to need to set for Chicago. I just did it a whole bunch of times there. That's not quite enough. Just pop that out for a second and that'll make it easier. 660, there we go. What else we got here? Okay, the air conditioning packs can go on. They're going to fault until that starts up. And the recirc fan we should have on. We can turn on the windshield heat. Run an ice tech test. And we get ADS heat test okay. And you turn that on. There we go. And dome light, because the dome light is actually on already. It's a little bit kind of dim in here. I've set the clock back 3 hours, so it's actually 5 o'clock. Almost. Actually, I don't know what time it is here. Why does it say 21:56? That's not right. No, 25 should be 5:22, because I want it to be just basically. It's actually 4 hours back, but I just want to make sure we get this done in daylight. So, okay, there we go. That's a little closer to real time. All right, we've already set up our V speeds. Let's just make sure that first of all our barrel is set correctly here. We got 3001. And one thing I realized when I did my last stream, I realized that the background audio was a little bit on the loud side. So I've turned it down a little bit this time. I didn't kind of realize it when I was doing it last time, but it is a little bit loud. Nose wheel steering is not armed. Stall test. Alright, and do the cockpit voice recorder test. 2, 3, 4, 5. Green light comes on. There it is. Alright, and altitude, so 5,000 for Ottawa. And the heading. Pretty sure 3.2 is bang on 320. I'm going to check the charts a little bit here once we talk to ATC, but pretty sure it's bang on. And I need those as well. Alright, and we've got it set to V2 there. Alright, I think all the rest of this is just about ready to go here. Do a quick anti-skid test, turn it off, turn it on. Seems to work. Lamp test. Make sure none of the light bulbs are burnt out, and if they are, you can replace them. Alright, otherwise that looks good. I'm just going to do a quick control test here. Yeah, the flaps are working. The controls won't work until I get them out of the detent, that's fine. Thrust reversers are disarmed. Let's get Toronto Center up here. And the TCAS, I'm going to set to the relative because I don't know why it defaults to absolute. Alright, make sure the stab trim is on. The mock trim is on. And the yaw damper is on. Parking brake set. Navs are on IRS. The ADG is stowed. Quick trim check. So let's just pop this. Follow along as I do a trim check. There's the pitch trim. Rudder trim. Aileron trim. Alright, perfect. And that's it. We've got Toronto Center tuned up. Let's see if we can get a word in here. And let me get a pen and a piece of paper to write on, because otherwise there's not much point in calling.
Canada 400, Toronto Center, good evening, climb flight level 290.
Alright, now I had a very hard time hearing him there, but... Toronto Center, good evening, SkyWest 5732 on the ground Ottawa radio check.
SkyWest 5732, Toronto, good evening, I got you 5x5.
Teslix 80, good evening, sir, welcome to the stream. Toronto Center, SkyWest 5732 at Gate 6, request IFR clearance to Chicago.
SkyWest 5732, Toronto, you're cleared to Chicago, Ottawa 4 departure flight plan route, departure runway 32 and squawk 0507.
SkyWest 5732 is cleared to Chicago O'Hare via the Ottawa 4 departure and flight plan route, departure runway 32, squawk code is 0507.
SkyWest 5732, the readback is correct. ATIS Delta current, pushback at your discretion, call for taxi.
Our discretion for the push, we'll call you for taxi, SkyWest 5732. 0507. Alright, we did get the Ottawa 4 departure, we did get runway 32, so that's all good to go. So, let's just do this, pull all this stuff up here. We'll do a quick departure briefing if everybody is ready. For any master warning... Someone's been back to work. Yeah, that's probably true. Okay, sorry, let me think here. Okay, so, in the event of any abnormality during taxi, will stop. This will be a left seat takeoff. Any malfunctions prior to the V1 of 132, I'll call stop or go. If the call is stop, I'll close the thrust levers, apply maximum reverse stop on the runway. I'll set the park brake, PA, remain seated, and call for any required memory on secure right checklists. He'll verify reverse monitor deceleration, call 36 advise ATC, mayday, mayday, mayday. SkyWest 5732 stopping on the runway. If the call is go or out or above, you want to continue the takeoff at 400 feet. I'll call for heading mode bank and ask you to identify the failure. The engine failure procedure off of runway 32 in Ottawa. I believe it's a left turn 300. I don't have escape charts handy, but I believe it was normally a left turn 300 upon reaching the acceleration altitude of 1400 feet. Once established in the climb, we'll track the flaps on schedule and call for any required memory items or secure checklists. Today's taxi out, we're at Gate 6, we're at the north end of the terminal here in Ottawa. For runway 32, we're going to expect to taxi through the apron. Echo crossing runway 07 will be the only real hotspot. Hotspot number 1 as well is just to make sure that we are paying attention to, I don't know what it actually says. You know what, I'm going to read it. Taxiing on apron, aircraft may miss Echo and Charlie. So we're looking for Echo. I know where Echo is. It's pretty good visibility, so I don't think we'll have too much problem finding it. But that's our one hotspot. The other hotspot is crossing the active runway. We'll look both ways, make sure we're clear to cross before we do. We'll taxi Echo and hold short runway 32. Once we depart, we're on the Ottawa 4 departure today. That's plate 10-3. That's effective on the 12th of August of 2021. So this is brand new. Let's just go to the bottom corner and see what the notes say. They changed the MSA around Ottawa. Interesting. The safe altitude for 100 miles is 7,000. Refer to 10-4 noise abatement procedures for additional requirements. And the Ottawa 4 departure is a vector SID. So for runway 32 here at the bottom, climb runway heading 320 or as assigned. For vectors the assigned route and jet aircraft maintain 5,000. I've got 5,000 set and I've got 320 set on the heading there. And let's just really quickly check the noise abatement procedures because I believe there is something for 3.2 for departures off 3.2. So we're going to do a noise abatement 2 procedure, and departure runway 32. Climb on runway heading to 1500 before proceeding on course. So 1500 before we make any turns on course. The MSA around Toronto, around Ottawa, is 2900 most sectors now. The weather is looks like a VMC kind of day. Operational. I don't have any MELs on the aircraft. No TAMs. Let's just have a quick little look-see here, because obviously I don't know what I'm doing because I didn't know that the runway was open in Chicago again. So I should probably actually read the no TAMs. They tell you important things. Runway 07. ILS 32, and that's it. There's just a couple of no TAMs for Ottawa, so no TAMs affecting our departure. Noise abatement, we've read no turns below 1500 off of 32, and in case of immediate return, I believe we're going to be, what are we going to be at? We're going to be at about 50, 62. Let's copy perf, let's see. Init fuel from aircraft, there we go. And so our takeoff weight's going to be about 69. I think we're going to be overweight for landing here. Yeah. Max landing looks like about 67. So, yeah, we would have to burn some extra fuel unless we're on fire, and then we'll just head right back. Okay, that's it. Any questions? No? Perfect. Love it. All right, give me 1 second here. Let me grab my checklist, because I haven't even used these in a while. I normally do like a practice flight before my stream, just to make sure I'm back in the loop of things, but I just did not have time. So, before start check, passenger signs panel. Alright, the fuel is done, so passenger signs are on. Landing elevation is set for Chicago. Altimeters, we've got 3001. I only set it on the 1 meter. Ooh, I'm getting rusty here. Come on. There it is. 3001 inches set and cross-checked. FMS is checked and set. The IRSs are aligned and in nav mode. Radios and nav aids we've got set, and the takeoff briefing is complete. The before start checklist is complete. Alright, and how are we doing for time? Oh, we're just about on time. Alright, so we've got the APU available. Let's just make sure it's picked up the electrical load here. It should have. APU, yeah, it looks like it's picked up the electrical load, so we can go ahead and take off the external power. And then what we can do is cockpit to ground. Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight tech.
We will be ready in a minute.
Roger.
And then this triggers the tug to come over. This removes the door. All sorts.
Have a good flight. See you later.
All sorts of good stuff happens when you do that.
Hi, Captain. All passengers are on board and doors have been closed.
Beauty. All right. So we're just going to actually go and shut the actual aircraft doors now. Closing the doors, closing all the doors, removing the chocks and the GPU.
Cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard.
Can't do anything when the chocks are removed. Alright, let's just have a quick little look-see here.
Ladies
Whoa.
and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking, and on behalf of myself, the first officer,
He
and
started
the
pushing
cabin
us
crew,
without
I'd like
even...
to give you a warm welcome on board the aircraft. As you may have noticed, we've now closed the doors and expect to be departing.
He started pushing us without me even asking.
Get yourself seated and secured while we get ready for pushback.
Alright, well, let's do the clear to start check then. Personal electronic devices are off. APU is on. Electrics are checked. Takeoff data is all set. The doors are closed and locked. It's not normal for him to start pushing. It's a little bit weird that he started pushing without a clearance to push. The brakes are sort of... He's working against the brakes, so in a minute, when we release the brakes, he'll really start pushing. Beacon is on. Fuel pumps are on, and the quantity is 12 tons. Hydraulic pumps are auto and on, and the parking brake will take off in a second. The transponder should also go on. We are ready for pushback and engine start. What happened to Pushback Express?
400 Toronto, still got you
Oh, weird. Pushback Express closed for some reason. And now it doesn't seem to want to start. That's weird. And annoying. Alright, well I've got a backup system here, fortunately. Oh, now it's doing something. Okay, I'll close that for a second and see what Pushback Express wants to do here. See now, flight deck to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Roger.
Okay, fortunately the tug's going to come back. So something glitched there. I don't know what glitched there, but he started pushing back and Pushback Express crashed for some reason. So we are ready for pushback and engine start. We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Toronto Center, Delta 222,
Roger.
ready to
Release
taxi
the boarding
runway
brakes, please.
32 with Delta, and we can take Juliet.
Brakes released.
Pushing back.
Delta 222, Toronto, Roger. I check intersection.
Are we clear to start engine 1?
Runway 32, the wind in Ottawa 330
Oh, sorry. Are we clear to start engine 2?
3008. Taxi apron your discretion.
Are we cleared to start engine 2?
Cross runway 25 and
You are cleared to
Juliet.
start engine 2.
Contact me holding short of runway 32.
Starting engine 2.
Alright, taxi runway 32, altimeter 3008 via the apron, Echo, cross 25 at Juliet, hold short 32 and give you a call, Delta
Cabin crew,
222.
please arm doors.
Alright, there's the 20%. So let's get this up there. Stop pushback.
Pushback complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the left
Hi,
side with the
Captain. The
pin.
cabin is secured. All doors cross checked. We're ready to go.
You can disconnect and go to hand signals. What just happened? Why did it just go to cut off? Oh, for crying out loud. I don't know what it's doing here. I'm not sure what it's doing here.
That was Air Canada 216. Air Canada 216, Toronto Cadet, climb flight level 350.
We lost the APU as well, didn't we? That's what happened. For some reason we lost the APU. I don't know what's going on here. It's like it wants to start, but it doesn't want to start. Okay, there we go. The APU's starting again. Somehow we lost the APU and the engine when the tug disconnected. Alright, and he's gone, so I'm just going to go ahead and close Pushback Express now because I think it's glitching. I don't know what's going on. I'm a little bit frustrated there. It's not working the way it should, and that's what happens when I don't do a test before I actually start a stream. Okay. So for some reason, it went to cut off again. I don't know what happened. It's like the aircraft did like a little reset or something.
And Delta 415, Toronto.
Alright, now we've got that running, so now it's got the starter going. Weird. There is something going glitchy with this sim tonight. Which does not fill me with confidence for getting to Chicago. Honest to God. As if it wasn't hard enough to get a stream in already. Yeah, it's like everything in this airplane just reset. It's like the airplane did a huge reset. Nothing is on. The packs are... Okay, the packs are on. Windshield heat went on. Like the whole airplane did a reset. It's very weird. How much fuel's in the airplane now? 12,000 still. Okay, the fuel's still correct. The whole airplane did like a weird reset there. Everything went to its like cold and dark position, which is just weird. Alright, let's just make sure we got everything sort of set up here. We still got the 660. Like, some of the stuff got remembered, which is the really strange part. Alright, let's just make sure we got the left fuel pressure low light. Good, yep. Starting engine 1. Really weird. Yeah? Okay. Is it Pushback Express? And Pushback Express has generally been very reliable, so Teslix80 says it might be Pushback Express that caused the glitch, which it did seem to happen as soon as the tug was fully disconnected. It looks like, yeah, I'm going to have to troll the FS2 crew forums. I haven't been flying very much the last week or so, so I cannot say for sure that it works, but definitely, yeah, like it seems like it was... it seemed like right at the moment the tug disconnected is when everything sort of glitched out there. So I'm going to have to really kind of look and make sure and see that everything is here. We lost our go-around bars. Let's get those back up. We got 10,000 back on there again. Yeah, back to heading north. Like, everything glitched. But not everything. And that's the weird part. The flight plan still appears to be in there. It kept things like the altitude... the heading, that is weird. I may not use FS2 crew next time. Okay, yeah, so it looks like all these systems. So the stab trim, the mock trim, and the yaw damper all reset. Now I've cleared out all my lights. Spoiler stab in test, parking brake on, isolation valve open. Okay, I think we got everything. Looks like we're good to go. Go ahead and shut that down. And let's see if oh wow, I'm struggling just to even remember what to do here. It's been a while since I flew this aircraft. Okay, let's just check this all out. Make sure we got everything. Alright. Yeah, you head on. I'm going to try and catch up to you. It is what it is sometimes. Did the transponder stay on? Yes, the transponder stayed on. It's weird what it reset. Alright, after start checklist. Generators are
Toronto Center, Delta
auto.
222, holding short 32.
Electrics are set.
Delta
Takeoff
222,
data
call me
is
airborne,
still
wind
set.
330 with gusting 19.
No, I'm reading the wrong one here.
Juliet,
Electric
clear
set.
takeoff,
Bleed valves are auto.
Wind 330,
Packs
14,
are on.
from Juliet, clear for
APU
takeoff,
is
32,
off,
Delta
and it's cycled down so I can close the door. Anti-ice we don't need right now, and nose wheel steering is on. The after start checklist is complete, and the one thing I will remember to do, because I often forget to do it, is a flight control check before we leave the gate area.
400, Toronto, just about to leave my airspace.
Elevators,
Montreal Center is offline.
ailerons,
Terminates and frequency change.
and the rudder. There we go. Clear on the left. Right. Toronto SkyWest 5732 is ready for taxi at Ottawa.
Jazz 5732, was that you calling for taxi?
Yeah, SkyWest 5732 at Ottawa, ready for taxi departure.
Sorry, SkyWest 5732, Toronto, runway 32, wind 330 at 14, gusting 19, altimeter 3003. Taxi apron, your discretion, Echo, cross runway 25, and contact me holding short of runway 32.
Okay, apron at discretion, Echo, cross runway 25, and we'll call you holding short 32, SkyWest 5732.
Jazz 7498, Toronto Center, good evening.
Oh,
Climb
Jesus.
flight level 33.
I wonder if the chocks are back in. Yep, the GPU's connected. Remove the GPU. Disengage the chocks, and that's why we're not moving. Part of the reset there. The chocks in. Oh, Lord. Alright, Squibbly, I didn't even say you take off. I'm sorry, man. I'm obsessing over my own stupidity here. It's not my own stupidity, it's my own issues, I should say. Not my own stupidity, but my own FS2 crew issues. One thing I will say right now, I'm having a look at this terminal building here, and...
Delta 222, 1,000 for 5,000.
Delta 222, Toronto identified, climb 13, 13,000.
Climb 13, 13,000, Delta 222.
one thing I will say is that the performance is much better today. For those of you that watched the last stream and noticed when we got to Ottawa, the performance was abysmal. When I looked at the terminal building, I was getting about 6 frames per second, and it was just absolutely just crummy. Really, really crummy at the end of the day. That's my polite way of putting it. Look at it now. I'm getting a good solid 20 plus frames per second. So there was something just going glitchy with the sim last time. And this happens from time to time. I find after I've done a flight, it's like all the rest of the scenery still stays in RAM, and there's not enough memory and capacity to really kind of process things when you get to the other end. So this is Roman Designs Ottawa, CYOW. Now, this scenery looks
turn left directly,
fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, I've got to say.
Left direct lead tack on
I've seen other Ottawas. This is by far the best rendition of Ottawa I've ever seen. It's payware. It's a single guy. It's a one-man development studio. He's done this. He's done a couple of other Canadian airports. He's done Buttonville. He's done let's see. He's done Buttonville. He's done Brampton. So he's done a couple of other Canadian airports. This is like his masterpiece, though. So if I can just pan around here. Nope, I can't. Why can't I not? That's why. I was pressing the wrong button, that's why. But it's absolutely beautiful what he's done with this Ottawa airport here. It looks really good. Like, you get really close to it, it looks really good. Now, there's something weird going on. I just noticed this time. So there was an update, and I noticed that there are now double signs over the gates, and there's extra bridges over some of the gates. So some of the default scenery is somehow showing through. And this was after I downloaded his latest update, so I don't know what's going on there. But in general, this airport, the scenery looks really beautiful. And he's done the whole airport. Like, it's a very big airport. There's a lot of stuff kind of out at both ends. At the north end, there's a GA field. He's got hangars you can taxi right into. He's got the whole FBO thing done. You know, the airport services building down here up ahead we're going to pass by. He has done a fantastic job. So it's not the cheapest scenery out there. I think it's $22, but it's really not that much. And for what he's done with this scenery, I mean, it's fantastic. It might kill your frame rate to look at it if you might even turn your frame rate down. But I mean, look at like the custom hangar over here, the Transport Canada hangar over here with the frames over it, like the exterior framing. The supporting walls for the hangar are framed on the outside above the roof. It looks so good. Alright. So yeah, I really highly endorse the scenery. It's a really good looking scenery. It gave me a few performance issues just because I think he's
2542, leaving airspace now,
gone to town on the clear on the left, clear on the right. He's really gone to town on the detail. But you know, if you certainly want a realistic Ottawa to fly to, and Ottawa's a great airport because you can do GA flying from it, you can do airline flying from it. It is big enough to accommodate international heavy aircraft. Mostly it's kind of regional flights, but you can do all sorts of stuff. 9,000 feet and still hand flying. Oh, that sounds like a challenge. Not one I'm sure I'm ready for, but anyways. Let's go ahead, do the taxi check really quick. Taxi check, slat flaps are at 8. Flight controls are checked. Trims, we've got 7.5 green, 7.5 units green. Thrust reversers are armed. Flight instruments we've checked, and the brake temps are all green. The taxi check's complete. Next is the before takeoff checklist. Let's get this going here. And actually, one thing I did not do was make sure that this is tracking. Yes, it is. End flight is there, so it is tracking properly. My self-loading cargo is tracking. It knows we're taxiing the runway. Everything is tracking. Everything's sort of working now. Thank goodness we recovered from the little glitch with the aircraft there. It was really weird. I might avoid Pushback Express next time, which is a shame because I'm really starting to enjoy Pushback Express. When I first got my hands on it, I was like, it was okay. It was mostly button controlled. The voice control didn't work initially, so that really didn't help. And then the other thing that really didn't help it was that there were no good jets to fly. So there's really no point in it. And that's not the fault of FS True Crew. That's just the nature of the sim. It was a new sim. There was no high-end jets to fly, so I didn't find myself using it. Now that I have a high-end jet to fly, I've quickly found it to become an almost indispensable tool. Look at this. Look at it. You got the services building. You've even got the fire trucks here at the practice pad there with the training aircraft there. You've got the orange hangar over here. It's just the whole airport is incredibly well detailed. So if anybody's looking for a good airport to fly and you want to support a good developer, Roman Designs CYOW. I don't think it's in the marketplace. It's on Sim Market, and you can buy it directly from his website. He'd prefer you buy it directly from his website because, of course, then he gets the largest percentage of the money. But anyways. Toronto Center, SkyWest 5732, short 32, ready for takeoff. I never did turn the strobe off.
SkyWest 5732, Toronto, call me airborne, the wind 330 at 14, gust 19, clear for takeoff, runway 32.
Contact you, airborne and clear for takeoff, runway 32, SkyWest 5732. Alright, clear on the left and the right. And I feel like I'm missing some stuff.
For takeoff, please. Thank you.
I do the manual cross feed there, and okay. Before takeoff checklist. Lights and strobes. Strobes on. Landing lights to go. Fuel cross flow is manual. Flight attendants are advised. Transponder is on. Radar terrain set. The CAS is checked. Lights to go, and then before takeoff checklist complete.
Toronto, I'm going to keep you for about another 30 miles or so, and then I'm going to transfer you directly.
And I see you're writing some stuff in the chat there, Squibbly. Just give me a couple moments. I'm just getting airborne here, and then I'll go back to watching what you're talking about there. All right, lights, camera, and here we go. Stable. Checked. B1, rotate.
Positive red, gear up.
Gear up. Heading mode.
Delta 415, Toronto. Traffic at your 1 o'clock for 10
All right,
miles.
climb power.
Bound at flight level 330 Embraer.
Speed. Set to 220. Flaps 1. I chickened out. I'm not hand flying. I don't like hand flying this airplane very much. It's just too squirrely. There's too much to do in it. Flaps up.
Jet 7498, Toronto, roger.
Toronto Center, SkyWest 5732, airborne 2800, climbing 5000 off Ottawa.
SkyWest 5732, Toronto, identified, climb 13,000.
Climb 13,000, SkyWest 5732. Let's turn the wrong knob there.
Delta 415, Toronto, thanks, no conflict.
There's actually a really neat policy called the single click policy that a lot of airlines have that I really like. And what the single click policy says is that whenever you're turning any of these knobs, you always turn it one click initially. Make sure
5732, turn left direct lead tack on course.
Left turn direct lead tack on course, SkyWest 5732. Direct to lead tack, execute, and nav. Alright, so what the single click policy says is that whenever you're twisting any of these knobs here that are
correction there, Canada 216.
any of these control knobs, you turn it one click initially, make sure you're changing the right knob. So if you've grabbed the wrong knob and you grabbed, instead of the altitude knob, you grabbed the heading knob and cranked it around like, 20 clicks, all of a sudden the heading changes a whole bunch and you got to kind of really fix that, and then you got to change the altitude. Whereas if you just do it one click and you realize you made a mistake and you see the heading change, not the altitude, if you've only done one click, you just click it one back and then you reach for the correct knob. So it's a smart policy a lot of airlines have adopted. Alright, I'm going to do the climb check here. So fuel, cross flow is auto, and bleeds and APU are all set. Thrust reversers, that's what I'm looking for. Thrust reversers go off now. And CAS is checked after... Or sorry, the climb check is complete.
0.80 or faster. Affirm. At a 216, roger, maintain speed Mach 0.80.
Alright, there we go. So the Thrustmaster Officer Pack is just amazing.
Jet 7498, Toronto, what's your speed?
I'm glad that you're enjoying the Thrustmaster. I am kind of thinking about in the not too distant future getting a new joystick system. I'm sort of leaning towards the Honeywell stuff just because it's very kind of universal. I like the idea that you can have like the four, the four knobs.
SkyWest 5732, climb flight level 380.
Climb flight level 380, SkyWest 5732. Alright, so we gotta go to 380, but first we gotta go 250 on the speed. I gotta go 380. It's getting light out there. We're almost through the clouds now. There we go. Beautiful. Ah, it's nice and sunny out here. We didn't even pick up any icing. What's the temperature out there now? Sat -1, TAT 7 degrees. Perfect. And there's 10,000, so we're going to go lights off. Let's just check the pressurization here. It is climbing at a nominal rate here, 1,000 feet per minute. It's a little bit steep, but when we accelerate here, it'll stop. And seat belts, I'll get in a second here, once we've kind of cleared these clouds a little bit here. I'm going for 290. There we go, 290. Perfect. Got a few clouds to make it over, but yeah. So I'm thinking about upgrading the control system, but I'm thinking the honeycomb stuff, just because, like I said, I like, at least with the throttle quadrant, I like the flexibility of the switchable throttle quadrant, so I can switch from GA to airliner style. The fact that it's got enough knobs that you can do four. You can have a 4-engine aircraft. I do enjoy flying the 747, so I like having the 4-engine throttle quadrant. So that's kind of my thought right now. Is I like the Thrustmaster for the realism. It looks really good, and it looks like a real jet power quadrant, but it's not going to quite do, I think, what I'm looking for, which is flexibility at the end of the day in my simming setup. I want to be able to fly all sorts of different aircraft, so it's kind of why I'm leaning towards that honeycomb unit. That's if you can get one, because obviously they are hard to get. And it's interesting actually, I was reading that honeycomb has actually created a non-scalping policy. So if they catch you buying more than one of their product from their website, they will ban you from their website for life. So because their products are so hard to get a hold of, so many people are, you know, they're trying to get them, that of course anytime there's a product that there's a shortage of, there will always be unscrupulous people that will go out there and will use bots and whatnot to buy as many as possible, as quickly as possible off the website, and then resell them on eBay for twice the price, or even through an Amazon storefront for twice the price. So kudos to Honeycomb for coming straight out and saying not only do we not condone that practice, but we you know, we very much disparage it, and we really do not want people doing that. We want the end users to get the product for the price that we charge for it, and not for double the price just because it's something that we're having a hard time making enough of them to actually meet the marketplace. So kudos on Honeycomb for that. Another good reason why I would definitely consider supporting them. It's mostly about the product, though, at the end of the day. I've got the Cytec throttle quadrant here. It's served me well for quite a few years. Some of the pots are starting to kind of get a little noisy there, and you guys have seen that, I'm sure, in my videos. You've noticed that more than once. Alright, there's transition set standard. Oh, right, I have to click, and then I can click. Right, and set standard twice. Yeah, some of the pots are getting a little noisy, that they do not work as well as they did back in the day, especially sort of at the very low end, at the idle end. There's a lot of signal noise at the very low end. So I'm thinking that these things, and I've had them now for a good like 3 or 4 years, I think they're starting to approach the end of their useful life. I've used them a lot. I will definitely say that. I've gotten my use out of the whole Cytec setup, so it's not that was money wasted. It definitely, it's something that I've gotten good use out of. As a starter system, I think Cytec makes a decent quality system. It's not fantastic. I won't say by any means it's fantastic, but I think as a starter system, Cytec makes a good quality starter system for people who are not sure if they're really going to be into this in the long term, if they're really sure if they're going to be doing a lot of simming, spending a lot of time in their sim. It's a great kind of entry-level equipment. It's not particularly hugely well built, but it is built well enough that it should last at least a couple of years of normal use. And then if you really are serious into simming, you can upgrade to the next things up. Because Honeycomb, I think, it starts at about almost twice the price of the Cytec system. Maybe not quite twice, but at least 50% more. And that's the next step up, really. And then you can go right up to like $1,000 or more for a system. So I think Cytec's a good starting system anyways. But it's definitely not going to be the last system I ever own. What else did you guys say here? Oh, there was a Fenix Sim broadcast this evening. I went and I watched the Fenix Sim video. I watched the pneumatics and bleed system video, and that was a nice looking video. To see how carefully they've modeled the various parts of the system, the various aspects of the system, like the temperature sensors and the actual air flowing through the system, and you know, the sensor reacts and the system moves according to the air temperatures and according to the ambient air temperature, and watching them change to the really cold ambient air temperatures and seeing how it would affect the performance of the system as a whole in the packs. Very, very in-depth, very intriguing to see this much depth being put into the A320 and usable in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it's going to be a huge seller, and I think at this point that anybody else that puts out the A320 other than fly-by-wire is going to have a very hard time making much money out of it, because depending on where they price it, and that's going to really be kind of the determining factor. If they price it anywhere in kind of just even in the mid-range, then nobody else is really going to be able to compete on price, other than the fly-by-wire being, of course, free. Nobody else is probably going to compete. The FS Labs probably will just not bother with the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform, because there's, you know, how many FS320s are people really going to buy? And especially if Fenix does what their videos are promising, FS Labs will not have a niche. Fenix will be a top-level performer in terms of having system depth, in terms of having the ability to fail individual things. He was showing in the video, I saw him showing how that individual parts of the system could be failed, and even different failure modes, like so have the sensor fail full cold or fail full hot, fail all sorts of different ways. So it was definitely eye-opening to see how well the systems can work in the sim, and to watch the airplane react to the failures as well as the ambient atmospheric changes. I thought it was great. So I'm definitely looking for that Fenix Sim. That's right at the top of my list of aircraft I want.
415, contact Toronto arrival 132.8. Good night.
Oh yes, so you want to remember, yeah, the Windy 2 arrival, yes. And this is the funny thing, is that if you go back in time, and you go back a whole bunch of versions ago, the Windy arrival and all the arrivals in Chicago used to have altitude constraints on them. And for some reason, like 6 or 7 or 8 years ago, they started deleting all the altitude constraints. And why? Why delete the altitude constraints? It gives a great planning tool for pilots. If you don't want to make them mandatory, if you don't want to do the descend via clearances, then just put them as expects. You don't have to put them as a hard altitude, but you just put them on there as an expect. Expect windy at 9,000. Expect all these different altitudes, and then the pilots can plan on it. If you don't do it, then that's fine. If you can't clear the people to that altitude because of the traffic, that's fine. But at least we can sort of plan our VNAV ahead of time and have a good, reasonable flight profile instead of trying to guess and then all of a sudden scrambling to get down at the last minute. Anyways, the restrictions you're going to want to see on the Windy arrival, let me pull it up really quickly here, from me having done it many, many times. Let's do it this way. We can close that, we can close this, we can go open charts list, and thinking about it. Uh-oh. Try it again. There it is. Alright, so the Windy is the last arrival here. Nope, not that one, this one. Alright, so the restrictions you're looking at. Generally, there's going to be 3 restrictions. You're going to see EMA, usually at flight level 320 or below. So if you were file below it, then you'll just cross it, whatever else you were at. But if you're above 320, you can expect EMA at 320. You can expect River at 20 at flight level 200. And then either Windy at 10 or Fire at 9, one of the two, depending on the east or the west configuration. I believe you said we're landing west, so I believe you're going to get, I think you're going to get Fire at 9. I believe you're going to get Fire at 9 for the west configuration. Anyways, if you do something along those lines, it'll set you up very nicely to sort of just vector yourself onto a nice wide right base, assuming there's no ATC online. I haven't actually looked for a little while at what's online here. Yeah, I haven't actually looked for a little while here. But if there's no ATC online, basically after fire, you can just self-vector yourself down straight south more or less until you intercept the approaches there. That's how you would normally fly it. Digital Flight Dynamics A350. I have not seen that yet, and I've been sort of watching the skies here, but that would be definitely the A350 would be an interesting aircraft as well to see in the sim. It's right there on the lines. To me, it's along the same lines as the Dreamliner. Just a very very electronic aircraft, very modern aircraft, but very electronic. So definitely the 350 strikes me as something that's going to look a lot like the 787. Not necessarily like exactly identical, but in terms of the level of automation that you're dealing with, they're basically kin aircrafts of the same generation, if you will. There we go. So I'm going to climb at Mach 77, so we're going to get the Bach number back there. Just fighting with that little knob there a little bit. They're really starting to frustrate me, this new interface. I'm not really sure that I like it yet, but anyways, we'll see how it fares. I'm trying to be patient with it. I haven't been flying the sim as much as I normally like to. Just again, been very busy with all sorts of stuff going on. But I would like to start flying it more when I have time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start serving drinks. Please make sure your tray table is in the down position and clear any items from the out. Thank you.
So that's self-loading cargo getting ready to do a drink service.
We are about to start serving.
And if we open the aircraft layout, here's all the people. Here are the cabin crew here at the front end that are getting ready to bring the drinks down the aisle here. And you'll probably even see this here. Serving drinks. Serving drinks. Serving food. So serving food and drinks. So this should hopefully up my satisfaction rating once they start serving dinner here. Alright, let's get a little bit better sense of where we are here. I feel like I don't have much situational awareness of where we are here. Alright, so we are passing just north of Trenton at this point, because I can't see anything outside because of that cloud deck. Don't see too much, but it's actually looking like it's going to break up a little bit as we go a little further west here.
Toronto FIR, good evening. Air Canada 858 with you, passing through 14,000.
Air Canada 858, Toronto Center, good evening. Climb flight level 310.
Flight level 310, Air Canada 858.
Roger.
Alright, not doing too badly here. Let's just check the progress page here and see what it's estimating for our time to Chicago here. It's estimating still about an hour and 21, so it's a bit of a long flight when you're going westbound. We're starting now to get back into winter. The winds are starting to pick up. There's actually, wow, 83 knot wind up here. That's a pretty strong wind, crosswind there, which kind of explains the crab here. I've got a good 15, 20 degree crab into the wind there. But Brad, evening, nice to see you here. Welcome to the beautiful skies over Ontario today. We are on our way from, where are we? Ottawa out to Chicago. We're just about to pass Peterborough. Going to pass over Toronto in about 15 minutes. Did I ever take the seatbelts off? I never did. I meant to as well. As soon as I cleared the clouds, I meant to do that. So, surprised the cabin crew did not call and bug me to ask me why the seatbelts were not off yet. Alright, how are we doing here? 356. So we got about 2,500 feet to go here. 2,300 feet to go until we reach our cruise altitude, and I'm just curious to see, Squibbly, how far ahead you are here. So let me just check out my live map and try and tax my processor ever more. There we are. So there I am, I believe. That's me, and that's you. So you are a good you're a good chunk of change ahead of me here. It took me, especially with that resetting of the engines there. I haven't seen that before, and I haven't used Pushback Express much lately. I was using it for a while. I just haven't flown this sim very much. I did actually do a flight earlier this week, but I did it in the DC-6, which didn't really need Pushback Express. So I'd be curious to play with Pushback Express in this aircraft. Just do a couple of pushbacks and see if it resets the aircraft every time we finish the pushback. That'd be very frustrating if that was the case. I hope that's not going to be the case. Pretty nice clear skies all the way out to Chicago. Looks like there's a little bit of rain or something here over New Jersey. Not that they could use any more rain. I was looking at the pictures of that last night or this morning, and that was just crazy shocking to see how much rain fell from that from Hurricane Ida, how quickly it dumped that much rain. Yeah, I didn't plan on my engines being off mid-push either. Everything went well until the tug disconnected, and then it's funny that everything kind of reset. The engine reset, the engines reset to off, the APU reset to off, most of the switches reset to off, but then it's funny that some of the stuff that it did keep, so it didn't do like a total reset of the aircraft, because some of the stuff it did keep. It kept the, what did it keep? It kept the flight plan, it kept the, it reset the altitude and the heading, but it kept the speeds, the V speeds in there, so it was weird. Like, it didn't reset absolutely everything, but it reset like 80-90% of it, so it was a little frustrating, but what can you do? See what people are saying about my flight. Expected 1 hour and 39 minutes. Excellent flight so far. Beautiful clear skies. I would like some food. Glad the weather has improved. The air is lovely. Glad the plane isn't shaking. Love the engine noise. Wi-Fi is good. I wish they served Pepsi. Is that what he said? I wish they served Pepsi. No, we're not serving Pepsi. We're serving Coke. Nothing to report from the ground techs. No medical issues at this time. And safety announcement playing. I haven't even honestly been to the self-loading cargo website for a little while. I know that the next version is in development. I forget what the next version will be. I think it's going to be 1.5 or something. It's in development when it... we've capturing it 3380. When it releases, I believe it's going to also then feature voice control, which is going to be interesting when you have FS2 crew and self-loading cargo kind of working with each other. I'm trying to find ways to work them where they complement each other, because some of the things that FS2 crew and self-loading cargo do will be kind of redundant. Self-loading cargo kind of provides a few...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just a short message from the cockpit to let you know we have in fact reached our cruise level. We're now level at 35,000 feet. We're not anticipating any delays, so as the cabin crew make their way around the aircraft, please make sure you keep the aisles clear of any items, and please sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the flight. Thank you.
Yeah, the self-loading cargo also does make some crew calls, some first officer calls. If I open up the setup window here, so features, in-flight features, voices, so captain's voice, and he can call. It's actually the captain making all these calls, but you can disable it completely. So you can. So if I do get FS2 crew, I'll have to disable all of this. So kind of the two things complement each other, and I'll probably end up disconnecting the. Let's see here. Disconnecting the cabin crew and FS2 crew, so the two again, they don't kind of overlap each other. Somebody sent me a message. Caught me off guard. I thought like maybe I was missing ATC or something here. It's like I shouldn't be missing anything. We're just passing just north of Peterborough now. Let's have a little look-see. Ooh, actually now we can kind of see outside. So we're just passing north of Peterborough. Let's see if I can recognize the lakes here. So that's Lake Scugog right there. Port Perry, Oshawa down there. See, this is this is my neck of the woods. I know these lakes well here. That's Balsam Lake with the island in the middle of it here. And then so we're coming up over Lake Simcoe here. So Aurelia's right here on the western edge. Barry's at the western edge. That's the northern edge. Sorry, Aurelia, western edge. Barry. Toronto's right down there. And also see Georgian Bay coming into sight there nicely. So beautiful, beautiful afternoon here. The time is not totally correct because if I actually look out my window outside up there, it's dark completely. But like I said, I've streamed in the dark before. I don't want to do it anymore. And these sims, honestly, they really do look quite good. But from a streaming perspective, you end up quite boring without any scenery. So, you work in Aurelia, and your mom lives there. Hi. I see you. Not too much. You can't see too far to the north. Kind of an overcast layer over there. But at least we're seeing some of the stuff here. I can never get over this view. And this is one of the great things about flying is you just never want to stop looking out the window.
Toronto Center, good evening. WestJet 1216 with you.
One thing I will say too, Toronto sounds very quiet tonight. Pity.
14,800 feet, for flight level 330.
So you live beside Downsview and you work in Aurelia. At least you're commuting the opposite way the traffic goes, because boy, it's a long enough a commute.
Identified and climbing up to flight level 330, West Jet 1216.
Yeah, I did all my flight training over here. I did all my flight training over here out of Buttonville, so this whole south shore of Lake Simcoe, I know a lot of those villages and roads and towns like the back of my hand. Like, you could plunk me over any one of them and I would recognize and figure out which village I'm over pretty darn quickly. Let's see here. So Highway 12 comes down here. I believe that's Sunderland right there. Sutton's right up here. Keswick's obviously on the west end there. If you go south from Sutton, just the Baldwin Airport's right about there, and Mount Albert's right over there. So, yeah, there goes Highway 12. There's Highway 12, and then that's Highway 48 right there. That cuts all the way across there and then turns south there.
Air Canada 858 Toronto, Ottawa landing runway 3.
You just never get tired of the view as a pilot. You just always, because you're always seeing new things you've never noticed before. The whole world is spread out in front of you. You're always going to see something you haven't seen before.
Canada 858, yeah, ILS or the RNAV, whichever approach request flight.
Alright,
it's going a little faster than I had planned. Planned it at Mach 0.77, so I'm just trying to eke the power back just in very small intervals, because I find it takes because it's a jet, it takes time for the power change to actually have an impact, for the speed to actually change. You want to let the speed settle at a new speed rather than pull it way back and push it way up there. It's uncomfortable for the passengers to be constantly changing the power. It blows my mind that the CRJ does not have an auto throttle system. Jets are such finicky aircraft. It is conceivable to fly it without an auto throttle system, but they are such finicky aircraft. Flying them without an auto throttle system, it's very, I don't know, questionable anyways. Squibbly, he's calling you.
Delta 2222, I've just got a new squawk code for you. Recycle transponder squawk 05.
Alright, just going to turn around here and just check out my VATSPI on my other window really quickly here. Just to confirm that, unfortunately, no, we don't have any ATC in Cleveland or Chicago yet. The night is young. If anybody out there is a controller in Chicago, please log on. Love to have some control for the arrival. If not, I know how to get to Chicago without a controller, but done it enough times. But it would be nice to have a controller. I would appreciate it. Let's see what else is new. Just trying to think if there's any other real news. Really, at this point, just that Fenix I keep looking forward to. For anybody that's looking, for another stream, right now I'm planning to do another stream on Saturday. There is a event in Vancouver. It's not just in Vancouver actually, but there is an event in Vancouver. It's called Cross the Arctic, and Vancouver is one of the arrival airports. So. Basically, aircraft leaving from Europe, flying right across the polar regions instead of across the North Atlantic, flying basically directly up over the pole to get to kind of Western North America. And I'm just trying to remember the timing of the event, but I cannot seem to find it. 11 to 23 Zulu, so I don't even know 100% what position I'm going to be working at or what time, but definitely later in the day, so probably in the 21 to 23 Zulu range. I'll be live streaming some ATC from the Vancouver area. I don't know what position I'm going to be working, probably center, maybe arrival or something like that. I just don't know. I honestly don't know yet. But sorry. Yeah, so Saturday evening, I don't know exactly what time, but on my YouTube channel I will be doing some streaming of that event from whatever position I end up controlling. And then sometime next week, probably around about Friday, I think, I was planning to do a stream not in the CRJ but in the DC-6, because I really still like that airplane. I'm really kind of enjoying it. I picked up some new scenery that I would love to test out with the DC-6. So I would like to try a flight I was originally thinking maybe San Francisco up to Portland. It's a little bit of a long flight. I was thinking maybe I switched to something shorter just to enjoy some new scenery that I got, because Latin VFR had a sale last month, so I picked up Miami. So I thought I might fly from Miami down to Key West. It's a nice flight. It's very relatively short. It wouldn't take even too long in the DC-6, but a nice, very scenic flight. So I think I might do that for my next flight stream. Not that I'm not enjoying this, Squibbly. You know, what am I trying to say here? The pilot's life career. I am enjoying the series still, but I thought I might just change it up and try and get a DC-6 flight in there. So it's kind of what I was leaning towards for my next one. And one other thing that I am kind of planning sometime in the month of September, and I haven't figured out when this is going to happen yet. I got a couple of things I got to figure out first, but sometime in September, I'm thinking that I will hold basically a newbie night, for lack of any better term. I know a lot of people have kind of watched my VATSIM introductory videos there, and I get a lot of comments. You know, I like it. I learned a lot, but I'm still a little bit nervous about getting on. So I think at some point it's not going to be a stream, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to log on to a quiet tower somewhere for 2 to 3 hours, and just let all of the people who have watched these videos and are still nervous about getting onto VATSIM and getting into the whole thing, just come to the tower, no pressure, not on stream, so you don't have to worry about making mistakes in front of other people, and hopefully it'll be a nice quiet evening, and basically I'll just be there to help new people get their first flight, just do some circuits or whatever, maybe even do their first IFR flight, get up off the ground into the system, but just get started with VATSIM. So I'm thinking of having this newbie night sometime in September. I don't know exactly when. I have to look at a few more things in my calendar and figure them out. Part of my problem is that I'm on call for work this month, which is frustrating because you really don't know when you're going to work. It takes up a lot of your month, but oftentimes you don't get called all that much. So it's nevertheless, you can't make any plans based on what's happening. So yeah, but yeah, that's something I'm planning to do. Because I've had many people express to me that they would like to come on, but they don't want to do it when I'm streaming, because obviously they don't want any mistakes they made to be recorded, which I understand, I totally get. So yeah, I would try and do it some night when it's really quiet. Find a quieter airport. You know, I might go to Vancouver and try one of the quieter airports out there, Boundary Bay or Abbotsford or something like that, somewhere out of the way of the major aircraft that are always flying around. Maybe even Victoria. Victoria is a fun little airport, but give some rookies a chance to get some experience on VATSIM in a very quiet, non-confrontational kind of way. Because VATSIM, I understand, is intimidating to new people. So I'm hoping that will help bring out some people onto VATSIM, get them into the system. Well, we passed Toronto by. You can still kind of see, and you can tell that it's different. You know, you can tell that it's still a built-up area with factories and warehouses and whatnot. It still looks different than the farmland. Like, it just, the differences, and it's funny, even the subtle differences look really good. There's a swampy area there. I can't remember what that lake is called. Somebody was telling me that the other day. There's someone who's familiar with it, and I can't even remember what it's called. What a beautiful evening for flying, though. Clear, smooth.
Toronto Center, Air Canada 117.
Still got a heck of a crosswind, though, 83 knots. So we are grounding. So let's see, our true speed's 455, but we're only grounding 451. Well, that's not bad, actually.
Air Canada 117, Toronto, runway 06.
It's just a very, very slight headwind. Basically, it's almost a full crosswind. So at least it's not slowing us down, which is often the problem this time of year. Alright, as I said to Squibbly there's a couple of altitude restrictions that we should plan on in here, so I'm going to
taxi to 0.
See if I can do this here. There we go.
So
it's usually Emma at flight level
30, runway 33.
You can just see that throttle quadrant just
Air Canada 117, yeah, that's all
just shaking just a little bit. Like I said, noisy control signals now. So 320 at Emma.
Runway 33 right.
The river at 200.
Roger.
And then I'm going to go with fire at 9. Flight level. So you have to put flight level 200. Other aircraft will just assume you're talking about a flight level, but this one wants.
Air Canada 858, proceed direct to Bolag, descent 7,000.
Flight level.
Down to 7,000, direct Bolag, Air Canada 858.
Execute. Alright, there we go. And fire at 9. And we got a whole bunch of waypoints. The other thing too, actually, and you look at this, you know, we've got 59 minutes to Chicago. It's not going to take 59 minutes to Chicago. One thing about flying to Chicago is that these, especially depending on which configuration they're in, oftentimes if you're on the straight-in type configuration, so we're in a west flow for us on the windy arrival, you're not going to use half the waypoints here. If I can just show you guys here. So let's see if I do this. Can I do this? Yeah, there we go. There's usually a way to step through this, but I can't see. I don't know what it is. No, I don't know how to step through this, honestly. Oh, there we go. So there's all the waypoints on the arrival. And so what do I do if I zoom in here? Might have been zoomed in a bit too far. Maybe not. There we go. There's a lot of duplicate waypoints here. And the arrival also. So there's a vector leg after Bambi, and the arrival goes all the way past that waypoint. So in actual reality, even in an east flow, we're going to cut probably about 10 to 15 minutes off the time here, because we're not going to go all the way over here and back. And if we were in a west flow, you can cut like 20 minutes off your flight sometimes from the planned time, because you're not going to fly this downwind. You're going to get vectored more directly. So yeah, the predictions in Chicago always kind of are a little bit longer than you would expect. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, we're landing east. For some reason I had it in my mind that we're landing west, but yes, we're landing east, so my bad. Alright, let's go back to the plan view. Yeah, I don't know why. For some reason I got in my mind that we're landing west. Landing west is definitely the more popular configuration in Chicago. It's definitely the one that happens about 70-80% of the time, I swear. Like, most of the time Chicago is in a west flow. But occasionally, you know, I mean, it does happen that they're in east flows as well periodically. But west flow is definitely their preferred flow.
We were just landing on 05 and 06 rate, but I'm in the process of switching it up to 33 rate. So it's your choice. You can take 33
Yep, there's the ATIS. Thank you. Perfect. Whiskey 151 Zulu 09085, 10 miles, broke 12,000, 3012, 10 center only. So because we're getting into late night, 10 center it is, I guess. Okay, but you know what? 10 center's good. It's a short taxi in. So that should work. That was the satisfaction. Now that everybody's been fed and watered, 82% satisfaction. People like my flight so far. Good stuff. Self-loading cargo people are happy. My Twitch viewers are happy. Everybody's happy.
Cross runway 06 left and taxi onto Delta. Are you ready to depart on 06 right?
33 right. Is that for departures? Arrivals though.
06 left, taxi Delta.
Toronto has been on a weird kick this summer. Just because of the construction in Toronto, they've been on a really weird kick. Their arrivals, yeah. Not too often land on 3-3 right. Because of all the construction in Toronto this summer, they've been on a real weird kick. They've been using really weird runway configurations a lot. Landing 15s and departing like 24 left and things like that. All sorts of weird things. And it's just because of the construction they've been doing. They've been doing such a massive amount of construction. They repaved a good portion of 3-3 right. They repaved a good portion of Bravo Taxiway, the holding bay for 06 left. Just huge swaths of the airport. The huge swath of Delta was repaved. And so they've been closing runways, and even when they're not closing runways, they try to keep airplanes away from certain approaches and runways, because there's also construction happening in the northwest corner. De Havilland's building, not De Havilland, but Bombardier is building a new factory in the northwest corner, which of course they got cranes up there, which are impeding on the approach paths for some of the runways. So
222, you're now leaving Meyer Space.
it's just been quite a crazy number of construction days all around Toronto, and just
Unicom, you've done a great job. Appreciate it. Have a great night. Delta 222.
like I said, like
Air Canada 858 descend 5,000.
yeah. The funny thing is, like, you talk about the flexibility. Really, normally Toronto is not a flexible airport. Normally, it's very, very much east flow or west flow, and that's it. And then in curfew hours, they may do a weird crossing configuration, but normally during daytime hours, they very rarely do any kind of intersecting operation. But it's been happening a lot this year with that construction. Normally, at the construction combined with the lower than usual traffic levels, even now the traffic levels are probably, I think, at about 50% of what they were pre-COVID. So they're not. There goes my light for some reason. It's on a timer to go off at a certain time. I don't know why. I have to figure out why it's set to a certain time. There we go. But yeah, normally like it's you know, depart 23 and arrive 24 right, or depart 06 left and arrive 05 are like the two configurations that are like about 80% of the time in Toronto. In fact, arriving 24 right is probably by itself is about 80% of the time in Toronto. I swear, I could ramble off that approach briefing in my sleep. But yeah, like I said, this summer it's just been all over the map with the construction and everything else. And the fact that traffic levels have been lower, they're able to get by with different runway configurations than they would normally consider using. So it's been an interesting summer for that. It's definitely it's required pilots to be a little bit more alert to just what's going on, because you get used to expecting a certain thing all the time, and then they change it up on you. Like I said, like 80% of the time in Toronto you would land the ILS 24 right and that would be it. You'd do the briefing almost before you even knew what you were doing, because you've done it 1,000 times. You can say it in your sleep. But then now you arrive 33 right and depart 06 left or something weird like that. It's like, well, your mind is just blown by this configuration. I'm sure the controllers are enjoying it though. I mean, it's nice when things change. It's doing the same thing day in and day out over and over again. Gets a little boring. So I think they're enjoying the fact that they can do some unusual runway configurations, but part of the reason why those east-west runways are preferred as well is also for noise abatement. South of the airport especially, there is a lot of noise-sensitive areas, so departing off the 15s is something that you do very seldom, and even arriving on the 33s is something they try to avoid when they can. If they need to for the wind, then they do it, but they avoid it as much as they can. The other thing, of course, is using the north-south runways, the flow is reduced because the runways are closer together than the east-west runways, which reduces the amount of traffic capacity. But if you want to divert, feel free to divert. You got, you know, pull a failure, fail an engine on yourself, and hey, give yourself a good reason to divert there. I'm going to continue carrying on because I want to get paid by my pilot's life career for getting to Chicago.
858, you're cleared Ottawa Airport, ILS runway 32 approach, go leg transition.
Cleared to the ILS 32.
We are getting across Lake Huron here.
Transition, Air Canada 858.
Nope, sorry. Yeah, no, that's Lake Huron. There's a weird few weird aberrations here in the AI generated scenery. You can start to see some of the satellite map tiles from this distance and from this altitude. The farmland should all look more or less the same, but some of these tiles come across a little bit darker, which is a little weird, and I hope that one day they'll come down and they'll fix some of this stuff. I'm not sure why.
Alpha Juliet, we're taking Bravo over to Victor, hold short, runway 33 right, west jet.
This is Grand Bend here. This doesn't quite look right with Grand Bend here as well. It looks like there's water where I don't think there should be water. There's something really kind of weird going on right here too.
Direct path.
Well, the scenery is not perfect, but
Air Canada 117, that's correct, and climb flight level 300.
Easier to float to here at this point. Even in the engines, you get that sense of rotational motion there. So much of what's captured in the sim here looks so good. just going to take myself away for a minute because I do need some eventual screenshots.
5732 Toronto, you're now leaving airspace to the west, placement centers offline. Surveillance service terminates and frequency change through. Have a good flight to Chicago.
Alright, off to the advisory frequency, SkyWest 5732. Have a great night.
See ya.
Yeah, that scenery's a little bit disappointing. Generally, the overall effect is always great, but there's a few, every once in a while, you'll come across something where the AI processing did not do things accurately and consistency. Even looking between Michigan and Ontario, a lot of this is a lot paler than this for some reason. Interesting. Okay, so back to Unicom. We got nobody else. Just going to check my IV pilot really quickly here. We got Boston Center, we got Indy Center, we got Toronto Center, we got Midway Ground. None of those are going to help us, unfortunately. We are starting to cut up towards our top of descent point here. We got about 100 miles till we start down. So now would probably be about as good a time as any to actually start planning up for this arrival here. Yeah, you're already 25 miles away. I'm about 100 miles away from that top of descent point for the EMA restriction. So I'm going to start setting this up here. So looks like the real world they're using 10 center. You know what? Seems like a legit plan, so we'll go with it. Change this up. The KORD arrival, ILS 10 center. We're going to do it via Gibbons. And we're still on the Windy 2 arrival. I'm going to go into legs and see what it's got here. So after hockey, we have to go to Flint and join the arrival. Execute. Alright, that should keep us on track here. Make sure it doesn't turn for some reason. Nope. Straight as an arrow on our way to hockey. Did that delete my restrictions? It did. Darn it. No problem. Flight level 320 at Emma. River at 200. And actually, for an east operation, I would say I'm going to make it windy at 10,000. So I'm going to change it up to 10,000. And the reason why I'm going to change it to windy at 10,000 is that if you stay at 10,000, you can stay above 250 knots until you start a final descent, which usually happens close to it being the field. So we're going to go windy at 10. And then eventually we'll get to all those other altitude restrictions in there. Now, there it is. Okay, it was just crunching the numbers. I was going to say it didn't calculate anything, but it did eventually. It just had to crunch the numbers. So now it's crunched everything. Now it's happy. All right, and let's start pulling up some charts and stuff here. So we're ready for Chicago. So that's the windy arrival. We'll put that one in our toolbox. The ILS to 10 center. We'll put that one in our toolbox. Taxi route in. Put that one in. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger so it comes across a little nicer. And then that's about all we really need. Parking gates. We can pick a parking gate when we get there. Alright, so let's do the windy RNAV arrival. Actually, no, let's do this first. Let's just make sure we set up everything. So we need 108.95, 093, and 869, 870. 108.95, 093. So we'll set up the ILS here. 108.95. We'll set up on number 2 as well. $108.95, perfect. And we need an inbound course. Alright, so let's just center the heading bug here. Switch to heading mode for a second. I'm going to set 093 as an inbound course. Alright, there we go, that's 093. And we can go back to nav mode. And we also have to set it on the other side here. If I change his nav source, it won't really matter because he's not flying. That's green. One, two, three. Perfect. Then I can take him back into FMS mode. Good. Alright. So we got that in there, and 869, so we got to set minimums of 870. Do 870, and then we're ready for our briefing. Alright, are you ready for the approach briefing? You gotta take 10 left, that's fine, no big deal. I don't think there's too much traffic anyways in Chicago tonight, so I don't think anyone's gonna mind you landing on 10 left too much. See, and this is why I'm a little shy about streaming, especially the fly-by-wire A320s when I discovering issues like this. So that's why I kind of hesitate to stay away from hesitate with the experimental versions of aircraft. But all right, so we're doing today. Actually, before I even do this, I should actually make sure that I do have my landing speed set. Give me 1 second here. I've got the sheets here. So what are we at right now? We're at about 89. So let's say 7,000 for landing weight. Let's even say 8,000 for landing fuel. Plus the ZFW, that takes me to about 62,000. 70. 60. Let's do 62. All right, so 62,000 pound. We're looking at a VREF of 129. VRF of 129 and a VT of 179. Alright, so speeds are in. We'll say that we've done our landing at distance calculations. So we're going to do the... Alright, I'm going to do it like this here. I'm going to probably shrink this down, move this over. I may have to reload it now. There we go. Now we can match the two here. Alright, so we're going to do the Windy 2 arrival into Chicago, 20-2 November, the 5th of November of 2020. Radar required, RNAV1, DVR, GPS required, and landing west. Expect vectors to final approach course after Pappy. We're not landing west, so that's not a problem. Alright, so we're going to do Flint. We've already passed Flint. No, we're on our way to Flint. After that, we're going to do Emma at flight level 320. Latour, Victory. Ditka, Walter, the River at flight level 200. Peyton, Windy at 10. Fire. Then we do Ernie, Pappy, Tubes. Monks, Giorgio, Possum. For 10 center. And after Possum, we're going to get vectored around. We're going to self-vector ourselves because I'm not expecting any ATC online to get to the ILS to runway 10 center. This is on plate 21-6, effective on the 5th of November of 2020. So the Loc 108.95, I've tuned both sides, and the final approach course 093, I've tuned both sides. And we can just take a quick little pan around to make sure. 108.95, 108.95, and I've set the 093 as well. We're expecting Ray at 2300. There it is. And the Cat 1 minimums, we're looking for 869, so we'll get 870 barrels set. And you can just see it there. Touchdown zone at 6. Airport elevation at 680. I believe I've got 660 set, so I'll just dial that up one little notch. MSA 3400, all sectors around the airport itself, and the missed approach is climbed to 4,000 feet on a heading of 093 and inbound on the Chicago Heights 336 radial to the Chicago Heights VOR and hold at 4,000. From Gibbons, RNAV1 is required. RNAV1 GPS required for procedure entry. Well, we got RNAV1 anyways. We don't have radar today unless somebody logs on. Simultaneous approach is authorized via design and glide path, not coincident. Let's see here. So we got, no special notes on the plan here. We got various crossing heights, 4,000 at Ruta, 2,300 at Ray. 3-degree normal glide slope, Pappies on the left, ALSF2 lighting system, landing runway 10 center. Let's see here. We're going to vacate left at a convenient taxiway. It's going to be probably Papa 5 or 6. And then the normal procedure would be then to go back to Charlie Charlie to cross and inbound on Kilo, because the departures on 10 left would go from Delta Delta. So we'll go 10. So we'll go back Papa Charlie Charlie Kilo to get to the gate. We're looking for some of the Gulf gates here. I'm going to see if I can find a real-world flight to match this one. If I can't, then I'll just pick something anyways. But generally, we operate in the Gulf concourse here, somewhere along here. So we'll find something. Terrain again, 3,400 all around Chicago Airport. Weather is seems like a pretty nice day overall. Let's see what am I doing here? Broken 20,000. Light winds out of the east, 5 knots. So weather's not an issue. Operational. I got no MELs on the aircraft. I'll just close this down for now. No TAMs. Oh, it's Chicago. You believe there'd be no TAMs. Let's see how long the Chicago no TAMs go on here for. Alpha 1 and Mike. Alpha. I'm just trying to find anything that is relevant to our operation, primarily involving the runways. 10 center. The center line markings are obscured. That's fine. 10 center hold and short. Line hold short markings obscured. That's fine. 9 center, and useful for guidance. Non-movement areas. 10 center. Anything for the approach to 10 center. Don't see anything for the approaches to 10 center. ILS or LOC 10 center. Straight in LOC. Cerso fix out of tolerance. Fixes minimums raised. Okay, that's fine. So nothing that's really going to affect our arrival. And fuel to go to. Let's see here. To go to Detroit, we're going to need 31 and 14. That's going to be 4,600-ish. And right now we're 8,500. I think we're going to have about 7,000 over. So we probably got about 2,000 extra. So we got definitely time to hang out for half an hour to 45 minutes before we have to consider going off to the alternate of Detroit. And that's all I've got. Any questions? Alright, give me a second here and I'll calculate a parking gate for us. Let me just zoom in here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing my top of descent point here for Emma. And I just missed my top of descent point. Well, poo. While I was sitting there heads down briefing. Hey, Mr. FO, what are you doing? You're not telling me when we're passing the top of descent point here. Now we're going to have to really hustle it down to make Emma at 320. I don't think we're going to make it. But I'm going to pick a really high descent rate anyways and see what we can do. Let's see here. We need about 4,000 feet per minute down to make that restriction. We could probably do it for a brief period of time. It's a little bit abrupt. Oh, and there's the white star. We got the white star back. Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen from the cockpit, you may have noticed we've begun descending to our destination. We're not expecting any delays, so we should have you on the ground in the next 20 minutes or so. If you could
20 minutes? We're about 40 minutes out, buddy.
Any letters that come around, it would be most appreciated, and make sure to fasten your seatbelt. For safety reasons, please turn off all electronic devices or switch them to airplane mode.
Alright, we will make our restriction to Emma. Nice. Okay, parking gate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just check the other computer real quick here and see if FlightAware has ever has any flights from Ottawa to Chicago direct, as we are sort of ramping up things in this world. Maybe there are some flights now I give about 50-50 chance. Nope, they still don't do it. So, I'm going to try and choose something similar. And the last time an Envoy flight did this, it went to gate L10B. Where the heck is gate L10B? Power back up. Gate L10B. Maybe we're going to park somewhere different. L10B. Here it is. I found it. American Airlines ramp. So we're going to come in around Alpha 20 here and try these gates over here for once. So L10. And Squibbly, you'll take K13, which is right across the way. Nice, nice. I like it. Sounds like a plan to me, my friend. Alright. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the river for 20. Almost as if there was a controller here, even though there is not. Alright, so there's 20,000 feet set. Get ourselves through this cloud deck. Hopefully it's not too bumpy. And away we go. Alright, how are the people liking me now? 80% satisfied. Meh, good enough for me. I'm doing the best I can to get you there. How much time do I have according to the schedule here? Expected 59 minutes. Okay, we're definitely going to be early. We don't have any major traffic tie-ups on the way into Chicago tonight. We're definitely going to be early. We're going to beat that today. Indy Center, Toronto Center, still don't see any ATC though for Chicago tonight, unfortunately. What can you do? Some nights you get traffic, some nights you don't. So if anybody has any questions at all, please feel free to ask right now. I don't even know what else to talk about. The last 2 times I went to Chicago, it was one heck of a time though. Both times. 2-3 days apart. Thunderstorms, both times went to Chicago, almost right overhead the field. The first day it was, the storm had moved off by the time we got there. The second day, the storm just sort of formed over the field and just parked itself there. It barely moved, sort of just barely drifted off, and we managed to do the approach and managed to get in there, but there were other aircraft ahead of us that were looking at the radar, and they're just going around, so it moved off our approach path just enough that it wasn't too much of an issue for us. But now why? And it looks like it transitioned for me to a speed that is much slower than I would want to go. The target eventually to transition to speed 300 here, because the other thing I'll say about Chicago is they always want you to go fast. It never have been told to slow down. That's not true. I have been told. But I have been told to slow down going to Chicago, but most of the time they want you to go fast. They're always asking what speed can you do, and then they're asking you to go that speed. And for some reason the controllers in Chicago are always in a giant hurry. Go faster. How come you're not there already? Go faster. Good. The river at 20, it's a sensible restriction, and I don't understand why they ever took it off the charts, because it's totally workable, useful. It gets you to the right place at the right time, and the controllers give it to you every time. So I don't understand why they ever took it off the plates. If you're not going to have it as a restriction, just put it on there as expect river at flight level 200. And then everyone puts it in the system, and then it's really easy to execute. They've got their descents planned out based on this. It just makes sense. I don't understand why Chicago got rid of all their kind of expect this, expect that altitudes. It doesn't make any sense to me. Power must be off before opening panel. Yeah, I would say that's a good policy for any electrical panels. Alright, let's see, how are we doing here? to increase my rate of descent slightly here. Still about 40 miles back from river, so I ended up being about 50 miles behind you, and it wasn't even, I wasn't even all that far behind you, but you know, it's amazing how once you take off and I'm still puttering around on the ground, how just like an extra 5 to 10 minutes of delay suddenly is I'm 50 miles behind you. There we go. Targeting 300 knots for the descent into Chicago here. It's going to be a beautiful evening though. Probably could have done it even an hour later than this and still would have been just the sun setting as we get to Chicago. I guess this month as well, I didn't even think about it, but I guess this month later in September is the FltSim Expo in San Diego this year, which I'm not going to. I really don't want to. The Delta variant is a bit too prevalent out there for my taste. However, they are also having a lot of their seminars available online. If you're willing to pay an online ticket price, you can go to a lot of their seminars online. So I'm thinking about that. I think I have to work, I forget what weekend it is now. But I think I have to work that weekend, unfortunately. But I would like to attend because lots of interesting stuff in there. Now I'm going to look it up because September 24th to 26th, so the last weekend in September. Last time there was a lot of interesting videos that came out of it, especially the one that kind of really I watched a lot of it was I watched PMDG's presentation about what they were doing with global flight ops, as well as some of their other aircraft. Of course, here it is, I think 2 years since that original announcement, over 2 years since that original announcement. Global Flight Ops is still not out yet. It's still in the beta testing phase, I guess. They're still working on it, tweaking it, trying to figure it out. It's fast becoming vaporware. I believe it exists. I believe that they've got it. It's funny how they, you know, it's one of those pieces of software I think with a moving target, and they keep on wanting to do more with it, and they have to keep on making it compatible with you know, all the new aircraft they keep developing, and it's just one of those things where you've just at some point you got to bite the bullet. Just get it out there in public. Let people see it. It is easy to spend 30 or 40 minutes on the ground. Yeah, that is true. Especially in a place like Chicago. And this was something I talked about on my last stream earlier this week about ATC in Chicago. And one thing that always kind of blows my mind is just how much they make the one ground controller work. And they really... there's 3 ground control frequencies in Chicago. There's a north, a central, and a south. And if you look at the airport diagram in Chicago, the central controller does all the work. The north controller does nothing. The south controller does essentially nothing. The central controller does all the work. So the north controller would control between these runways here, just taxis aircraft on this taxiway or this taxiway, and hold short, call the tower for the crossing. Ditto for this south controller here. It's this central controller here that does 95% of the ground control work in Chicago, which is just totally unfair. It's totally imbalanced. This guy is always working so much harder than everybody else, to the point where he never has time to even stop talking, take a breath, take a drink of water. I've always thought that there's got to be a way to split this airport up, so that there's 2 central ground controllers here, some kind of an east-west split, so or maybe even inbound-outbound split. So have the inbound aircraft call one ground controller, have the outbound aircraft call another ground controller. There's got to be a better way to run this airport, because this one ground controller and the whole operation kind of pivots around this guy. He's doing so much work, he's working so hard, and nobody can get to the runway if they haven't talked to this guy. Nobody can get into their gates if they haven't talked to this guy. So he's kind of, I won't say he's holding up, because they do an excellent job of kind of keeping the traffic flowing the whole time. They do their best, but at the end of the day, sometimes aircraft end up waiting for quite a little while, either to get out of the apron, to get their first call in and get off the apron and out there on the ground and start taxiing towards the departure runway. And or even for aircraft taxiing in, they may have to stop for a couple of minutes while they wait while the ground controller gets around them. So I feel like the airport could run more efficiently if they did a little bit more work on subdividing that central area into 2 ground control positions and not just 1. Alright, we're almost at 20 at River, so I'm now going to set 10,000 for windy. There we go, 10,000. And look at this, the same descent angle that I'm on right now will get me to windy at 10,000. Nicely done. Excellent. Lake Michigan, here we come. Now here is an interesting and scary fact that I read, because when you read about oil production on planet Earth, the numbers that they throw out there are just so staggeringly large that you fail to comprehend the scale of oil production that mankind is producing every year. I forget what it is. I think it's I forget what it is. I think it's like 35 billion barrels of oil per year or something like that. I believe is what mankind's producing, something to that effect. 35 billion or somewhere around there. 35 billion barrels of oil are being drilled out of the ground every year. It's a number that's so big it just defies comprehension. Human beings just can't comprehend it. So I read an article that actually put it into perspective so well. 35 billion barrels of oil is roughly half the volume of Lake Michigan. So every 2 years, human beings drill out of the ground, or frack out of the ground, or get from the oil sands now, clean out of the oil sands, half of this lake every year worth of oil. And then we put it into various vehicles. We convert it into plastic, but for the most part we put it into various transportation vehicles and burn it. That kind of really just blows your mind about how much oil is consumed by mankind, and it's impossible to believe that we're not having an impact on the environment if every year we burn half of this lake's volume worth of oil. I read that in an article a while ago. I can't remember where I read it, but I thought that was an excellent way of kind of really putting it into perspective. And I mean, this is just a simulated version of Lake Michigan, but even flying over the simulated version, you get a sense of scale of how big this lake is. Flying over it in the real world, it just sort of blows your mind that that's the volume that we're talking about. Yeah. We got to change the way we conduct business in our world at the end of the day. I'm not going to try and preach about this too much, but nevertheless, I'll just leave everyone with that mental image there. Look out there at Lake Michigan from one end to the other. We burn half of that every year in fossil fuels. Alright, we're almost there though. Hoping for some Chicago control, but I don't think we're getting it. Midway ground. It's about the closest we got. Unfortunately, we're not going to Midway. We're going to O'Hare. It's about time we certainly looked at what we're doing when we're burning hydrocarbons and why. But like I said, I really don't want to turn this into a giant environmental debate. That's not my goal. I think that visual image speaks for itself. Even the way the sun reflects off this lake is really kind of neat. I wonder if I can capture that. Ooh, nice. Have I not had my video on all this time? I turned my video off a while ago for some nice screenshots and I totally forgot about it. You guys don't want to see me anyways. 8,000 at Monks. Monks, I think, is the kind of the downwind turn there, is it not? I think that was the downwind turn. In which case, yeah, I think 8,000 would be good. Alright, I'll put myself back up on there. Yeah, I'd say you could even stay at 10,000 until you get to Monks and start dropping after that. The aircraft departing Chicago will be in the climb to 5,000 initially, so I mean, you could cross Monks at 8,000. I definitely wouldn't start descending any sooner than that. My plan is to keep it at 300 knots at 10,000 feet until I get almost to being in the field there. from this point on, it's a little bit, I won't say unpredictable, but it does vary a little bit. You know, once you pass Windy and Fire, then you're talking to the Chicago approach controllers. They're kind of a lot busier. They're a lot less systematic. Like Windy and Fire are kind of the gate posts where you kind of everyone expects you to enter the Tracon, but after that you're at the whim of the Tracon controller. So sometimes you'll have sometimes you'll start down a little sooner. Sometimes you'll kind of be kept up high a little later. Hopefully I'm catching up a little bit here. Let's see here. I'm definitely catching up now. I don't think I'm 50 miles behind you anymore. I'm just having a look at my Sim Toolkit Pro here. I don't think I'm 50 miles behind you anymore. I'm still probably a little bit behind you because you're probably a little ahead, but looks like you just passed Windy or Fire or something like that. Maybe even Tubes. Yeah, the send profiles really depend on what the routings are. Like I said, the biggest determining factor in Chicago is the fact that the departures from Chicago climb to 5,000 initially. So you definitely won't be going any lower than 6 till you get past the field. So they might as well keep you at 10. That's the thing, like I said, with Chicago, they love you to go fast as you can go, as often as you can go fast. They'll want you to keep 300, 310 knots, you know, until you're ready to descend below 10. They don't want you to slow down before you get to that point. Occasionally you might slow down a little bit early, but most of the time I find it's maintain 250 knots, and they want you to do like 210 knots down finally. Like I need to slow down. I need to deploy some flaps and gear here. Yeah, so you're still, I'm catching up, but I think you're still about 30 miles ahead of me, so I wouldn't worry too much. I might pass you on final. We'll see how it goes, but we're doing pretty good here. I'm enjoying this. I haven't done this. I haven't done this for a while. I really haven't. And I do miss streaming. It's not that I'm avoiding it. It's just life has gotten so busy again. You know, COVID, the whole pandemic, lockdown things, and being at home for a large portion of the time was really great for my streaming career, for my second career as a streamer. But yeah, it's not a career that's paying the bills by any means. Like I said, it is pretty much paying for this hobby, offsetting this hobby. I think the next thing right now, I think I kind of I've been looking at buying some scenery, but now I'm getting kind of interested in ordering the Honeycomb throttle quadrant, the Bravo throttle quadrant. So I think I may save the next couple of checks I get for the streaming that you guys have sent my way, and I may save them for a hardware upgrade instead of upgrading the sim, which has been kind of what I've spent the first bit of revenue I've made. So I finally did actually make some revenue. I got my first revenue check from streaming. I wasn't even from streaming necessarily; it was from YouTube. So it's more from my videos, like 2 months ago, and then I got a payment from Twitch like about a month and a half, 2 months later. So both of them kind of coincided more or less now. But it took me a good chunk of time from the time I first got monetized on YouTube. I think it took me almost a year to make that first $100. And that's sort of the minimum amount that they'll hand you. If your balance at any point in time is less than $100 in any given month, so they look at it kind of monthly, and any time it's less than $100, they'll just hold it to the next month until you have $100, and they'll pay you out minimum of $100, but they'll only pay you out once a month. So if you don't get $100 in a month, then they'll just simply roll it over to the next month. So it took me the better part of a year to get that first $100. The second 100 is sort of accelerating. I've noticed that my videos are still picking up a little bit more speed, a little bit more. They're becoming a little bit more popular. They're becoming watched a little bit more, which is rewarding. It's good to know that my videos are getting watched, that they're getting some publicity out there. I hate to say I've lost interest in the Dash 8 Systems videos, but boy, they were tedious to create, very tedious, and they have garnered a bunch of views, but I really do want to finish at least the one that I'm working on. That's like 3/4 done, and I keep yeah, I'll pass you on taxiway. Bravo. Yes, I remember that now. You'll have to watch where you go and cross the runway. Like I said, if you're looking at the runway, there's two places where you want to cross. You want to either go down towards the end, or you want to cross kind of down towards one end or the other. So you'll land 10 left anyway, so you won't care. But if you're landing 10 center, you want to generally taxi back to like Charlie to cross, because that way all the departures going 10 left from Delta Delta, you won't stop them, you won't cross in front of them, you'll be safe behind them. If you go the other way, you definitely want to go to at least Echo Echo, if not Golf Golf. Usually Golf Golf would be the one where you cross. It kind of gives you a little bit of a buffer into where you're going there. But yeah, you want to go pretty far either way. You don't want to take any of these kind of halfway taxiways. You want to go either down at Charlie Charlie or Golf Golf to cross. That way you know you're not going to get stuck with a taxiway that doesn't get across. Alright. We just passed Ernie. We're coming up on Pappy here. Chicago shoreline. Here we come. It'll be interesting to go to a different gate. I haven't been to the Lima gates before. Wonder what kind of food they have there. Wonder if they have a pretzel stand. I know they're not good for me, but I love those pretzel bites. Every time I go to Chicago, I think about the fact that there's an Aunt Annie's Pretzels right near the gate, and I always think to myself, do I have enough time to run in and get some pretzels and come back to the gate? McDonald's. Yeah, there's a McDonald's not too far from our gate too. There's a couple of them scattered throughout the airports. There was also a really good pizza I found on the Bravo concourse. Or was it the Charlie concourse? Charlie concourse, I think it was. Found a really good pizza place on the Charlie concourse the one day I was there for a long period of time. And I was there by myself, I think, because I had to change aircraft, and the rest of the flight went back with it. It was a real pain, so I was there for like 3 hours by myself. So I went and walked all around, and I ended up walking over to the Charlie gates. This is sort of mid-COVID, so a lot of stuff was closed. So trying to find open restaurants was always getting very challenging. There's the airport. If we were going into 22 we'd be perfectly straight in here, but nope, we're going to go cut over to the right downwind for 10 center. Chicagoland, here we come. I don't think we're getting any ATC for this end, unfortunately.
Chicago traffic, Delta 222 on the downwind island. Runway 10 left, on about a 45-mile final, Chicago traffic, Delta.
There we go. Set that heading bug. Alright, so in just another 2 or 3 minutes here, we'll start slowing down, and once we slow down, then we'll go down. See, and I hate sticking my head too far this way where I end up clipping the window, but there's lots of neat stuff to see down here. Coming up is I believe that's the north end of the subway line there. There's a huge subway yard there, which I always end up mesmerized by some of these things I see down there, some of the infrastructure. It's always interesting to see these projects and how much space they take up behind closed doors that a lot of people don't ever even see. Stick your finger in the pitot tube. Alright. Speed back to 250 here. We're going to get ready to go down. Alright, I got 6,000 feet set there. I'm going to get slowed up to 250. We're going to turn on the downwind here shortly. And you know what I never did? I never did a checklist. I never did the descent check even. Landing elevation. We just need to click that up one notch, I believe, for 680. There it is. Yep, 680. Fuel is checked. We still got 73 in the tanks. Yeah, that's a pretty good estimate for 7,000 in the tanks. TCAS is set. Radar is off. CAS is checked. Landing data is set. And the approach briefing is complete. The descent check's complete. Let's get some lights. Lights. Seat belts. And let's go ahead and start down. 1,000 feet per minute should do it. And yeah, we got lights, we got seatbelts, perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt as soon as possible.
And it's a pity we're not going to Midway. Midway is just... Oop. Midway, I poked my head out there. Midway should be right. Is that Midway there? Somewhere very close by here. It's not far at all. Alright, there's the airport. We got lights. Looking good. See what happens. Wouldn't that be realistic if I could actually stick my finger in there and the pedo simulation actually failed? Check that heading bug one more time. Chicago traffic. SkyWest 5732 is on a right downwind runway 10 center. So we'll go a little bit past the airport, then we'll go ahead and set 4,000, and 4,000 is Ruta anyway, so that's going to work out, I think, pretty nicely.
Cabin crew, please prepare the cabin for landing. Thank you.
How's my self-loading cargo doing here? They still like me? 75. Right about where we started with. They don't hate me, they don't like me. They're indifferent to the fact that this flight happened. Oh, mercy. I really am a little disoriented. Midway's back here somewhere, but I can't see exactly where it is. It's closer to downtown than O'Hare is, but it's smaller, so it's harder to get. You can't get anything much bigger than a 737 or a 320 in there. Even get the 37s. Like, it's amazing to see Southwest that they operate as a hub at Midway with an aircraft that really doesn't fit in there all that well. It's a little bit too big for that airport. Alright, let's go ahead and set 4,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please make sure you are seated with your belts fastened and your trays on the
We might
upright
just bump that descent rate up a
position.
little bit.
Safely stored and
I would imagine you must be just about turning final by now.
until after landing. Thank you.
O'Hare traffic, Delta 222 on a 15-mile final.
Found you.
Runway 10 left. We're established. Chicago traffic, Delta 222.
Found you. I got my TCAS on, and now I see you. I swear I turned it on to relative. Oh, probably when it did its reset there. There we go. Well, I'll make sure I turn in behind you so I don't cause any kind of a conflict. Oh, yeah. It really doesn't like me over there. Where are you? Oh, oh, oh. Is that you? No, that's scenery. I'm gonna have to just do it this way. Aha. Maybe that is you? No, it passed pretty much a beam me right now. I don't know. I don't see you. Weird. Should be able to see you. Alright, what are we at here? 55. Yeah, we can go ahead and turn in behind you here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn north. We're going to slow down. And we're going to go... let's see here. See if I can get Sharon to come up here. Alright. It's kind of a little ugly, but it works. Alright, we're going to go ahead and set that. And here comes the altitude capture at 4,000. We'll start slowing. A little far out, but it'll be just fine. Alright, heading 060 to intercept. And clear for the approach. We're going to let the turn. Alright, there's Loke already. Why does it seem like my inbound course is backwards? Did I set it backwards? I thought I said 093. There we go. Anyway, 093. Ooh, we lost a lot of speed there while I was paying attention. Let's get flaps 1. There. Alright, 190 on the speed. Chicago O'Hare traffic, SkyWest 5732 is 13 mile final runway, 10 center. Alright, 093 set on the heading bug. Somehow I missed you, I don't know where you are. Hopefully it's drawing you. Let's see here.
2 mile final.
Yeah, you should be. 320. Yeah, no, it says it's drawing you. I just have to get close enough to see, I guess. Let's go for laps 8. And any second, there's glide slope. And the ground altitude 4,000 feet set. Perfect. Alright, just gotta track this down there. We're almost there, people. And we still have lots of time to go here. It says we still have 28 minutes until our expected arrival time. Even with normal Chicago taxi, we should be able to make it to the gate in that length of time. I'm gonna take myself away from the webcam for a minute here, just because I might use some of these shots. I can just see this here. There we go. For what's happening here. Wow, we gained a lot of speed there on final. Again, get distracted, start looking at silly things, and alright, let's go gear down.
Cabin crew, seats for landing, please.
Because now it doesn't want to slow down. I need some speed brake as well, because I got it basically at idle. And because I sped up so much on final, it doesn't want to slow down anymore. Let's go flaps 20. I'm going to clear myself to land here with the taxi light. And the before landing checklist. So flight attendants are advised, passenger signs are on, thrust reversers armed, lights and strobes are set, and flaps to go. We've got 30 set, indicating we need flaps 45. Alright, there's flaps 45. Trying to set the speed bug to 129. I don't think I'm going to get it there before I get to the runway.
1,000.
Alright, stable. Just need to get the speed back a little bit here. Got a little low and slow on the approach while I was playing with the speed bug. disengage in the autopilot. See if we can get this thing onto the runway instead of off to the left of it for some reason.
Sync rate. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Reverse green. Idle reverse. Reverse is stowed. Alright, that was actually not a bad landing though, I like it. Oh, I totally forgot to set up the guesses. I'm out of practice with this streaming apparently. Alright, wow, there we go, we did it. That wasn't too bad of a landing after all. That's the best landing I've done in this airplane actually I think in a while. See what self-loading cargo says in a moment here, but it's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Minus 117 feet per minute. Perfect. Well done. Firm, but not hard. Alright, after landing flow. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Probes. Alright, after landing checklist, APU, we're going to wait till we're close to the gate. Transponder staying on for now. Chicago air traffic, SkyWest 5732 is clear of runway 10 center. We'll be crossing runway 10 left for the apron. Flaps are up and zero. Lights and strobes are as required. And probes are off. The after landing checklist is complete. Alright, then we just got to make it all the way down to the end here. Alright, but not too bad. That was a pretty good landing, if I do say so myself. That worked out really well. Even though for some reason the aircraft was trying to fly just a little bit to the left of localizer the whole time. And it obviously, I guess the actual experience of flying airplanes has got me a little bit more practice now. See, who says FltSim doesn't have like real world applications in FltSim? Alright, this should be Delta Delta. Gotta go one more taxiway to get to Charlie Charlie. And then all the way around to the Lima gates. Nobody said that taxiing in Chicago was a fast endeavor. Kind of going faster than I realized there when I had to make this turn. Alright, clear, left, and right. Chicago air traffic, SkyWest 5732, crossing runway 10 left. Rid of that because it's a little distracting and I really need to see out the window when I'm crossing the runway so I don't get run over by another airplane. going to go straight ahead to the last right turn on Kilo and take Kilo around to get to Bravo to the apron. Alright, this time I'm going to remember to take the strobe off when I'm done crossing a runway. Alright, that's Charlie. Okay, so that's Lima. And this one is Kilo. You started your studying for your S1. Excellent. Good luck on that exam. I wrote that exam. You're going to hate it every minute of it. Yeah, unfortunately, the biggest problem with VATSIM, one of the biggest problems with VATSIM is because no one's ever compensated for their time, there is always a shortage of qualified ATC instructors on VATSIM. There's never enough people willing, able to provide instruction as there are people who want to do it. And part of the problem, it's not a big problem, but a lot of people kind of see VATSIM and they want to do controlling on a whim. A lot of people sort of do it on a whim. It seems fun, let's go, I want to go do it. And a lot of people don't want to, it's not they don't want to, a lot of people don't realize initially the time that's required to become a controller in VATSIM, and it's quite an intensive process. But that's what makes VATSIM such a good system, is that the controllers are quite well trained, well certified, so they're not, it's not an easy process to get through though. So there's a lot of there's a lot of difficulty initially in the process. So it takes a lot of instruction to get through there, and we do get a lot of people, unfortunately, that are not really serious about it, that apply just because they can. And it's very frustrating as a controller, unfortunately, that we do get a lot of people who apply just because they can and are not serious about following up. And if I had $1 for every student that I've trained that is no longer a controller on the VATSIM network, I'd be a rich man. Okay, so maybe that might be an exaggeration, but there are tons of people that that I've trained that are no longer members of the FIR, are no longer member of VATSIM, or at least are no longer active controllers on VATSIM. And it's very frustrating as a trainer to see so many people leave after you've given them so much time, because that's time you could have given to someone else that would have stuck around for longer. So while I really kind of hate the concept of wait lists, at the end of the day the wait lists are a bit of a good thing for the training departments, because they sort of weed out the people who are just doing it on a whim, the people who are just who saw a video of it, thought it looked cool, and said, hey, I could do that, and never really thought twice about the difficulty, the commitment involved with it. Because the trouble with VATSIM training is it's a lot of one-on-one training. There's a fair bit of self-study, but there's a lot of one-on-one training, and if you're not willing to put in the time...
7714, taxiing on to runway 4 right, we're going to taxi and hold midway.
Yeah, like there's a lot of time involved, a lot of self-study involved, but a lot of people don't realize how much commitment they really are putting into it. So they start to learn, and then they give up along the way, or maybe they finish it up, and then they really never were serious about providing services long term. And there are a few people I've trained that have been around for many years and have provided tons of service, and it's very rewarding to see those people still out there training other people and providing service on VATSIM. But it's frustrating to think of the number of people that I've trained that have left the system. So I definitely don't mind at least a somewhat of a wait list if it sort of weeds out the people who are just doing it on a whim, because that's every hour of training you receive on VATSIM is an hour out of my life or someone else's life that they have given that hour to you to learn. Yeah, right now I'm not doing any training in Toronto. My training is all in Vancouver right now. I'm trying to keep that FIR organized and going, and even that one's becoming a little bit of a challenge. Again, it comes down to just the perennial shortage of instructors. Alright, I need to go in at Alpha 19 here is what I'm looking for. That's right, I remember now. Okay, we're up to Alpha 17. We're getting there then. We're close. Oh, it's a long taxi in at this airport sometimes. You're going to be off the plane, shut down, and probably be in your car driving out the parking lot before I even get to the gate.
Midway traffic, Delta 714, departing runway 4 right on the Midway 6.
Alright, I think I see the concourse here. Then we gotta find the right gate. We've also got to start the APU as we come around the corner here. Okay, APU starting. Alright, we're looking for Lima 10 Bravo. So you're parked over here at Kilo. Why do I not see you? It says it's drawing you, but there must be something wrong with my models. Because it says you are 0.1 miles away. There's something going on with my model matching. Because I don't see you anywhere here. And it says it's drawn you, but obviously there's something wrong with the model.
Midway
Because
traffic, Delta 714, passing 1,500, climbing, flight
yeah,
290.
I can't see you at all. You said you're parking at Kilo. Anyways, you can see like this whole side of the concourse here is blank. And I'm not sure what's going on there. Obviously something is not working properly with my model matching. Yeah. No. I'm gonna have to, I have to tinker with that because, yeah, I don't see you at all. Oh, here we go. This is Lima 10 Bravo here. I'm supposed to park it this way. That is weird that I didn't see you at all. Well, that explains why I could never spot you when I was looking for you. It says it's drawing you, though, so there's something corrupted or wrong with that model. Sneak in there as close as we can. I want you in my stream.
Midway traffic, Delta 714,
according to
Midway.
VPilot, you're in my stream. You're right here. You're number 1, 0.1 miles away, and for some reason, just not showing you here. May try deleting you just to see if I can figure it out, because it's weird. Anyways, yeah, we're at the gate here. That's on, so we can go ahead and cut these off. Alright, kill those fuel pumps. Just check that the warning comes in there. Yep. There we go. Off. Off. And off. And shutter down checklist. Yeah, my papers. Okay, shutdown checklist. Parking brake is on. Seatbelts off. Thrust levers shut off. Anti-ice off. We can get the windshield heat off as well, I guess now. Fuel pumps off. Beacon off. Nose wheel steering switch off, and transponder off. Shutdown checklist is complete. That's done. Let's see if we can get the bridge to come over here. That's very annoying. So I don't know why it's not showing the model of your aircraft, because it says it's drawing it, it says it's in the sim, and then it's not in the sim. So I'm going to have to go and play with my model matching and see if I can figure out why it's not working, but it's a little annoying. Alright, so these people are... I'm just waiting for this to start. so that I can get the jetway. I guess I should open the door as well. Chocks on, door open, railings down, ground power on, cargo, and we can go ahead and turn on the...
Ladies and gentlemen, from the cockpit once again, I hope you enjoyed your flight with us today. On behalf of myself, the first officer, and the cabin crew, we wish you a safe and pleasant journey from the airport and hope to see you again.
And there we go.
Thanks for flying with us.
Here comes the baggage loader as well. But yeah, so there we go. We made it. I don't know why I can't see you, but that's very annoying. I'm going to have to... I'm going to try some things here, actually. So I'm going to try one setting here, which is I'm going to try removing my custom rule set. And then... Nope, that didn't do it. So I've got an Airbus A320neo, but it does not seem to want to draw you there. So there must be something wrong with the model that I downloaded, because it doesn't seem to be showing you there, which is just frustrating. So that's why I couldn't see you at all. Oh, you logged off anyways. Well, never mind then. I was gonna try and troubleshoot it for a second, but anyways. Yeah, that was great. So thank you so much for joining me, Squibbly. Thanks for flying with me, and thank you everybody else for watching the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. We are gonna have to call it the night there. That was tons of fun. Another leg successfully done. So we have one last turn in our SkyWest career here. We've got to go to Wichita and back. Again, about a 2-hour flight each way. So it's going to be a pretty nice length flight. As I said, though, I think my next stream I'm going to do the DC-6 just because I haven't done the DC-6 for a while. It's a different challenge. It's kind of fun in a different way, so I'm going to do that instead. But I will come back to finish this Pilot's Life career very soon. And then I don't know what we're going to do next. Like I said, I've looked at different things, and I was thinking that, you know, flying maybe for Delta or something like that would be, if they'll have me. Let's see if I can get rid of all the ones that are not North America. And that makes it easier to find what I'm looking for. But something that's an Airbus operator, maybe I will fly that 320 around, the fly-by-wire 320 around if I can make sure. I'm going to have to do some test flying with it and make sure that it's going to work for me, but could definitely consider flying for somewhere like Delta. Atlanta's a hub. There is a good Atlanta scenery in the sim. Let's see, main hubs. There's quite a lot. There's a couple of hubs here. There's quite a couple of hubs here, anyways. London Heathrow, Boston, Detroit, New York, LAX, LaGuardia, Minneapolis, Seattle, SLC, Salt Lake City. So Seattle, LAX. Those are possibilities, anyways, or Atlanta, and doing a couple of steps as a 320 captain there. So that might be fun. I haven't made up my mind. I still like the CRJ. I still kind of want to do the CRJ, but I do kind of want to try out the Airbus. I don't want to change airlines too often, but maybe it'd be worth it. Maybe we can have some fun. Boston, and generally I would say yes to Boston, but Boston in Microsoft Flight Simulator sucks right now. We need like a good quality payware, because the default scenery with no improvement whatsoever and just the auto-generated scenery, it's absolutely terrible. I've tried to go in there a couple times. I've looked around. I'm just like, this is terrible. I couldn't fly here. So yeah, definitely not doing Boston at this point. And it's not that I don't like Boston, because the ATC in Boston is great when it's there, and I love Boston. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's not. It's just not doable as a hub in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Not yet. If I see some good scenery come out, then I would select that as a hub for sure. But Atlanta could be good. Atlanta could be good. Can reach a lot of places from Atlanta. It's a really big, busy airport, obviously. So, anyways, I don't know. I still got to think about it. But thank you so much for watching, guys. As I said, next stream will probably be on Saturday. We're going to stream from the Cross the Arctic event from the Vancouver arrival end. So tune in for that. The times to be posted in the Discord once everything's finalized. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and healthy out there. And if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and we will see you guys all real soon.